Yeah.
Oh, I was so happy with that, Peachy. I swear to God, after the show, I was like, see, Rob, you're the weird one. You don't have censuses for your weird
Liz looked at me and
dolls.
said I'm weird.
Well, then, fuck
You
you
and Liz
guys.
are like cut from the same cloth.
I know,
clearly.
literally.
I mean, that's nothing but a
Rob's
compliment
the
to
Liz of
me.
this relationship.
Yeah, that's a compliment to me. Liz, you and me, right? We got this.
We got this, Liz.
Because someone has to. Hello, welcome to Juggz.
Oh, we're in. Hi.
Yeah, we're in.
Well,
We're
it's
left
what they call a
hard.
soft launch.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought that's when, like, you post a picture with your boyfriend in the background and you're soft launching your boyfriend.
I guess it's the same thing.
Kind
I guess
of.
there's multiple versions of a soft launch.
Yeah, just mid-conversation, aren't you?
Yeah. Like,
Soft-
is that what a teaser really is? A soft launch?
This isn't a teaser.
Can
we're
we?
in.
But
Wait,
can we start
teaser.
talking? You know, when someone leaks like a GW mini, can we start calling it just a soft launch?
I thought you were going to say teasing.
It's definitely a soft launch.
soft
yeah.
launch on that.
Ooh,
Soft launch with a potato cam.
Hello, everyone on
Hi.
Juggz. Hello.
Hi, my juggernauts.
Juggernauts!
Hi, my juggernauts. Hi, my little juggalos.
Jugheads.
Hi, my jugheads.
Yeah,
I need to
jugheads.
think of
I was
another
in a
one.
charity shop yesterday,
Yeah.
just looking for stuff.
As you
got,
do.
got some
I
good
love,
books. got some
love
good
charity
books.
shops.
There was some good Toby Juggz.
Ooh.
And there's one that looked just like you, but you made you look like a taxi driver. And I was in two
Weird.
minds.
Did you
whether to
take a picture?
I should have taken a picture.
Why don't you just take a
I know.
picture?
I do this. I am a
You
terrible
have a phone. You
content
live in
creator.
the 21st century.
I go to events. I went to Warlord last weekend and took no photos.
Did you? Okay, can you tell us all about that?
It was great. It was to celebrate their new game coming out, but actually I had a video go out at the same time as well.
Wonderful.
Which tanked a bit, but then seems to, after the release, because I did it on the Friday, which was the day before release, and Saturday was the release day. By Monday, it was like
Bit like the Allies. Rocky start.
rocky start.
But
yeah.
they got there.
Perfect. I like
Here
that.
it
I like
is.
that. I like that.
Painting World War II miniatures quick and easy.
That title changed 5 times, and the thumbnail changed about 6 times.
Also, I just realized I flashed my phone and the thing just says, it's Hitler for trans people.
Oh my days!
Oh, no.
What have you been watching?
I don't know.
I got a question, Peach. You should have just put, do you want to defeat the Nazis with painting?
Oh, you see,
6th time.
yeah. I
And
think
then
Let's change
another-
it again.
Yeah.
Change
Yes,
the
that-
thumbnail
that's
to you
happening.
flipping off Hitler.
Yeah. Oh my god! I need to talk to you guys
All right,
more.
yeah. Can you just voice call us next time you're going to do a thumbnail?
So,
Well, I've got
we're
one
gonna
coming up,
Photoshop
right?
you and Hitler.
I'm doing one this week.
What did I say at the start of the
You
show?
said get Hitler out your mind.
You went straight in hard.
Okay.
So this week I've done a video with I got a sponsor with a company called Enviro Games. They got a new game coming out
Yeah,
called
you
Nova
mentioned it's so
Smallen.
cute.
It's all sustainable. They use Cyocast, which is recyclable materials, really good. And they try and minimize the carbon footprint as much as humanly possible. So everything's like recycled content.
Very cool, very cool.
And I'm trying to think of a thumbnail, and I've got an idea of a thumbnail, but Liz came up with the name Eco Warriors because obviously it's an eco-related product. We deal in miniatures, it's warriors, and I've got like a shield design with the recycle symbol on.
Love. I was
But-
going to say recycle.
But I don't know what else to add to it.
Okay, I got it. Okay, Louise
Okay, no,
first.
you first.
Are Eco Warriors taking over Games Workshop? Question mark.
Ooh, I
Picture of
had a-
Warhammer World and then a picture of like just stop oil. Yeah?
Shall we
You will
just
not
use
get
that-
any of the normal people who watch your videos, but you will get some people watching.
Can we do the picture of Rob where he goes there once a year just to hold up a sign?
Oh, yeah, if you
Except
want
we
that.
blur out his face and it says, I don't know,
Just stop oil.
just stop oil.
Just stop oil.
But then Games Workshop has been like covered in like fake orange paint.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
love this.
We've done
Okay.
it for you.
That's it.
I was just gonna have a thumbnail picture which was like, can you turn trash into miniatures?
Oh,
Which I don't hate. Like we turned rubbish or we turned trash into miniatures
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something like that. And then have like a little picture of a little bin and then a recycle sign and then like Space Marine ? Henry Cavill hates this. I don't know if he does. He probably doesn't, bless him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
But,
like the idea of trash to miniatures and like just an arrow from trash to the miniature.
Or
But
you
mine's
can
got-
hold a big stinky bag and be like, ew,
I think mine's got some good appeal though.
Yeah. Stop
got
oil.
some-
Tell
big-
us in the chat which one you prefer.
Yeah, who do you
Peachy,
rate?
you're holding a stinky poo bag going,
I
oh.
guess by that point it'll be out for a week, so I can still change the thumbnail and still change the
Have you
title.
done the A/B testing yet?
You get 3, and I've done
Do
it.
you?
I've done it a couple of times. So you get to put up 3 thumbnails,
Yeah.
and I've done it a couple of times. Once it's up, you can't change it. The first time it was fine.
You can turn it off.
You can,
Yeah.
but once it's up and running, you can't change it. And I had
Oh, I
one
see.
image. One of my thumbnails was massively pixelated.
Oh,
The actual image
no.
from my documents wasn't.
Mm.
When I uploaded it wasn't. When it went live, it did.
That's so
And someone was like, this image is really pixelated. No wonder you're not getting views. I was like, thanks.
Did they say that to
Well,
you?
I mean, they were being helpful. They weren't being mean.
No, they were being mean.
All right, Louise. Some people are just trying to be constructive.
No,
Yeah.
they're not. They were trying to be dicks.
Okay.
I saw it as a helpful thing, so I changed my
No
thumbnail.
wonder
but-
you're not getting views. Is not a nice thing to say.
No, for like the video itself.
Then
it was,
why
like,
do you keep
struggling.
saying it to me?
I don't. I
But-
do not.
But yeah, so that it's fine. It works. But then, yeah, once something like that happens, you have to then just change the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then you cut that stops the test.
Yeah.
And then that's it. You're done. But there's been a couple of times where it's just gone, this is the overall winner. And then it just automatically picks the overall
Oh,
winner.
does it?
So you have 14
Wow.
days, but usually it works out within like the first couple of hours, which one's doing better.
Oh, nice.
I've only tried it once and it was like 51 to 49. So I was like,
Yeah.
eh.
I had 3 and it was 33, 33, 33.
Yeah, it's
for a
very.
couple.
I don't even think about them.
Yeah.
Not
It's
even.
because someone else does your thumbnail.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, little secret for everyone. Tom, who does Louise's Goblins, but he initially started out because he's an amazing graphic designer and website guy, and we've known each other for a decade. And
Longer than a decade now, surely.
oh, maybe probably longer, probably more like
Yeah.
15 years.
Yeah.
But like he was like doing a lot of freelancing. He was like, I'd love to transition to just working with you guys full time. And so then basically I just started working a lot harder. I don't know why. I don't know if you two get this. I find it so much easier to work harder for other people than for myself.
Nah, I love working for myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it seems
yeah.
so much easier when I'm like geared towards helping someone else versus
Yeah.
helping
But
myself.
you have different things that motivate you.
Yeah,
because
that's true
you
for
get
everyone.
into like sit pits and stuff like that.
I do.
Do you know what a sit pit is?
Is that where you sit and you're in a pit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, right.
So it's a thing that Rob gets sometimes where like because Rob gets up a bit earlier than me, and then he'll be like, okay, bye, I'm gonna see you later, bye, and then I'll be like, okay, bye, and then an hour later I'll get up and then he'll still be there and he'll be like, fuck. Like,
yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
he's not noticed that he sat down to just read something on his phone.
Do you know what, actually, since you pointed out that it is a sit pit, like it's helped me out a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, like I've understood more. Like sometimes I felt like I was, I'm like, I'm doing what my brain is telling me like I need for the day. It's like, do you know what? You need 20 minutes to chill out before you do the next
20
thing.
minutes is fine.
Yeah, like, but it's not really what it's happening. What it's actually doing is saying, like, you need an endorphin here. You absolute doom scrolling psycho phone gremlin.
Yeah.
You are
Like,
a doom scrolling psycho phone
get
gremlin.
Yeah,
that,
like,
yeah.
and
You're
so
also a Eurotrash homunculus.
that's also true. Shout out to the BattleTech community for that one.
Thank you, BattleTech community.
But yeah, but now I'm a little bit better at that now. A little bit better.
Yeah.
Like I'm at least self-aware enough
Yeah.
now to like know what the problem is.
I find myself doing that. I've been
Yeah,
sat
so
down, I've had lunch, I've got a cup of tea. It's got a bit cold. I've got like my little throw, put it around
your
me,
wee
and then
blanket.
wee blanket, and I'm looking at my phone. I'm like,
like Mole from
yeah.
I like look at me emails. I check like some bits there. and
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
better than what
and then
we
I
do.
look at it and go, "Oh, I'll answer that one later. That's a later job." I know Liz will be like, "Don't put off later what you can do today."
Let me tell you, later
Oh.
jobs are something we should all do, but fuck doing them.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Honestly,
They're like,
we're like today we all came in and everyone was kind of like, "How are you?" And we all went,
Ugh.
"Ugh."
there's too many later jobs.
Yeah. Like we all have. Apologies to everybody who has emailed me in the last month.
Yeah.
I'm going to say because I have been very busy and very stressed, and I haven't answered many emails, so I'm very sorry about that. So
Yeah,
sorry.
later jobs are hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're... okay, so you went to Warlord.
Oh,
That's where we
yeah.
were,
Oh,
though.
yeah.
I was
went to
supposed to go to Warlord, and
Yeah.
I feel really bad that I didn't go. So sorry I didn't go.
Yeah, it was great. It was just celebrating the new game that came out, Bolt Action 3rd edition.
Oh
Most
my
people
God.
refer to-
How have people received 3rd edition?
I think it's gone down well. I've never really I've played one game of Bolt Action, and I enjoyed it. I like the idea of like picking out your order dice from a blind bag kind of thing, a bit like how Legion works in a
Yeah.
way.
Mhm.
And I like that because it adds like an extra level of tactics to it. But I'd kind of lost my drive for World War II stuff. But a lot of people keep saying Bolt Action's great, Bolt Action's great. And then I got that set to paint up for the video. I really enjoyed painting the models up. And then I went to the Warlord Day, had a good look around. I'm kind of stoked to do more stuff.
Oh, good.
And
It
'cause
inspired you.
It's the first time I've done that on my channel as well. I've been wanting to do some World War II content for a while, but I don't know if you guys find this like there's more jobs I want doing than I have time to do.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
Um,
Every day of my life. Every day of my life.
Yeah, I mean I've got like I'm recorded a Necromunda Battle Report. I know I need to voice over that, but I want to do my V1. I want to do a Stargrave one. I do want to do a Frostgrave one. I want to do a Rangers of Shadowdeep one. I also want to do a Band of Brothers one now that turns into Wolfenstein. I want to definitely do Lord of the Rings before Christmas. So I definitely want to do a Lord of the Rings one, maybe for War of the Ring. War of the Rohirrim, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited for that.
I'm excited. I watched the
we can
trailer
talk about that.
15 times.
It's very cool.
And yeah, I've got like a handful I want to do before Christmas, but I've got this massive amount. And people, rightly so, are like, when you do more sharp? And I'm like, I want to do these other things first. I want to tick some other boxes before. That's why I did him as a season, like season 1 for sharp, so people know. Because I had a cliffhanger.
Because then you can have like a break.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
smart.
I think that's actually something you should both be really proud of, because that's actually something I sometimes feel in a rut. Like not because I don't love what I do, but I'm like, oh, like another Age of Sigmar video, another Old World video. Like I would like.
It is nice being constantly inspired by new things all the time.
Yeah, but you two get to be, you two, like Louise, you've done great at that. You've been like Cloth Goblins, Lego. I'm going to do VR.
Sometimes I get a little bit stuck with ideas when I want something quick to do because I have a bigger project planned. Like those quicker videos, I really struggle with a little bit. But yeah,
weirdly, I want to be more like Rob and be like,
I want to be.
I'll be like. Right, you're really good at like, I've got this plan of doing all these army books. That's the plan. Until that's done, then I'll move on to something else. And
but it's super hard though. I need you to know.
Then he never moves on.
Yeah, I really lost steam towards the end, and then I worked on that. Like, I would love to find some days this week to sit down because I played in that event. Remember, I said I recorded it and I did all these things.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've got all the footage. I just haven't had time to sit down and edit through it. And sometimes, and I remember I said to you today, I was like, what have I even done with my day? Like, I don't know. Like, I swear, I promised to everyone at home, like, I have come in every day to do work. Yeah. And I do work. And I'm like, why the fuck?
But you also run a venue, like an events venue.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's quite a big job as well.
Yeah. And we have been working on
me often.
Yeah. And we're working on the new Goblins, and we've been working on some other stuff. But like, these things happen, which is fine. Yeah. I sometimes feel like I'm kind of like in this kind of like, almost like, under hive of sadness.
Oh, nice.
Oh my God, stop.
Tell me more about this under hive of sadness.
So what we were going to talk about on today's Juggz, we were going to talk about Necromunda, but before we do that, we should keep going around with what everyone's been up to a little bit.
I was wondering how the event was.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. So it was.
We'll get there one day.
It wasn't huge. It wasn't huge. It was probably like a couple of hundred people there. There was.
That feels like a lot.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, from what I saw, I was only there for a little while. There was lots of stands of like games being played, not just bolt action stuff, other things as well.
Other things.
What I do like about Warlord is they do the tours and they're not afraid to show you all their new releases. So they have a new release cabinet. You can take photos of the new release cabinet. Got to chat to Kirsten Williams. She used to paint for Heavy Metal when I first started in the studio, and then she moved to the scenery team that did all the stuff for the exhibition. She did a lot of painting for that as well. Now she works for Warlord, so I had a bit of a chinwaggle with her. But they'd like to do some Conflict 47 stuff as well, which is super weird science. So it's almost like the war's gone on, but they're all like in mech suits and they've got like laser guns.
I get it.
Wolfenstein, basically.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which is quite cool. But yeah, it was good. I got to see a bunch of people, got to chat to Pete the Wargamer. I love Pete the Wargamer.
He's such a nice guy.
He's the nicest human in the world.
Lovely boy.
I was with Stevie B, and both big fans of World War II stuff and big fans of Pete the Wargamer, it pans out, because we both used to watch his channel quite a lot.
Cute.
Yeah, some people tried to cancel Pete this week.
Why would people try to cancel Pete?
Pete accidentally named one of his Space Marines after like some fashy person. Yeah,
oh, no.
But it was
Jordan B. Space Marine.
That's a great name.
Donald Chris Space Marine.
Anyway, but then like someone posted it in there's a subreddit called Sig Marxism. Yeah. Someone posted
what was
it
that he called it?
I can't remember.
Can you remember anything to do?
I can't remember anything to do with it. Anyway, like, and then someone wrote in there and was like, "This is a stretch. Calm down." Yeah. And then like
this isn't the kind that like there has never been a dog whistle out of this man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Pete streams a lot as well.
Not now to cat whisper from this boy.
Yeah. At which point then someone replied with, "Oh, Rob knows him," and Rob would call him out if he is one. And I was like, "That's nice." Yeah. And then someone replied with, "I think Rob's a prick," and I was like.
From Pete the Wargamer.
Signed Pete the Wargamer. Yeah. It's like, it was a really fucking tough day on the internet. I was like, I was like, I'm just going to close Reddit today.
That's enough Reddit for today. Maybe we should all close Reddit although I started following a new Reddit board last night. I've been using Reddit board. I've been using Reddit more often. You won't believe what it is.
What is it? Sylvania Families?
No.
Or what is it?
Flint napping.
What's flint napping?
It's when you make arrowheads out of flint.
Oh my god!
I'd call that flint making.
It's napping.
Why is napping?
It's KNAPPING because I'm really into like archaeology and stuff. And then I started looking at where's a good place to find like arrowheads and stuff and like riverbeds and things like that.
Nice.
And then I saw some people actually making some. And then I was like, oh, this is a cool little hobby. So then I looked it up for like 3 hours last night instead of sleeping on TikTok. And then I decided to join the flint napping Reddit.
Interesting.
I don't look at Reddit that much.
Me neither until I
Apart from
realized
flint
there's
napping.
it's a flint napping.
Flint napping.
There's a Reddit for everything apparently, and I'm like in like 5 very weird ones, which is like no Warhammer ones, Sylvanian families,
Nice.
Monster High,
Nice.
Gundam, and flint napping.
I recognise Monster High.
Yeah.
That's good. I normally follow like game stuff on Reddit is what I
What do you mean
normally
ga-
follow.
Oh, what, like Frostpunk?
Yeah, stuff like that. Because like normally, like when something just comes out, like there's a bunch of like active posts, and you can like, and it is like, and yeah, it's normally a good spot for like if you've got a weird question, you ask a weird.
yeah,
I don't ask it on Reddit. I ask it on Google.
The only
and then,
way to find something really good on Google is to type in your question and then add Reddit to the end to see actual humans talk about
That's
it.
good.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's normally what I do, and has helped me with loads of tech stuff.
But for everything else, fuck it.
Yeah,
Terrible place.
yeah.
Terrible
For opinions on Rob, no.
No. But that's good that they're like, even though Rob's a prick, if he would call out a guy that's a fascist.
No, they were different guys, girls, MBs. I don't know. They were different people.
Yeah.
That was important, but it made me laugh. Shout out to Sigmaxim.
Yeah.
Please defend me.
Jesus. Thought they'd love you there.
So World War II, because World War II is not like very popular anymore, is it?
Well,
It wasn't popular at the time.
Yeah, I know that, Louise. But actually, there was a lot of celebration when it was over,
yeah.
and it was a hot topic when it was going on.
It's interesting because
It was trendy.
Yeah, during my youth, and I mentioned this in my videos, like my era, and I suppose like a lot of people, like, I was brought up on war movies, action movies. A lot of it was like The Longest Day, Bridge Too Far. Speaking of which, it's the anniversary for Operation Market Garden.
Hey. Wait, didn't that go badly?
It did. It went terribly wrong.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, it's like the British paratroopers, all the paratroopers basically went too far and got
Mulched.
yeah. It was the classic, like, it'll be over by Christmas, and don't worry, it's full of old men and children. Never the case.
I just always think of the British military as being the commanders in Blackadder. In the World War II
Honestly,
Blackadder.
probably not far off.
Yeah, like 100% those people.
I think when you get, this is the interesting thing about the military, like the mid-tier command, like in management, right? The top end of management tend to have a bit of a clue about like shares and how to manipulate a business.
Yeah.
Then you get your middle management, which mostly tend to be complete idiots.
Yeah.
And then you get like your supervisors that tend to be the ones that do all the legwork.
Yeah, the NCOs.
The NCOs. And you get that with the military. You get like mid-range, like commanders, like lieutenants, captains, majors. They tend to be a bit more on the ball. So when it gets higher up, that's when it gets a bit more of a, Blackadder.
They don't know what the fuck they're talking about and have silly accents. Yes.
I did discover, I had to read a bit more about this. I thought it was quite funny.
Yeah.
That during Normandy, the British and the Americans made a load of inflatable tanks. So the Germans thought they were going to start invading from a different area.
That's less fun.
So it was
than
like,
what I
they're
thought.
going to invade from like to Calais, because that was like the closest point.
Yeah.
So they had all these like fields full of like inflatable tanks and stuff. So from like the air, it looked like that's where they're all massing.
Yeah.
Well, the Germans were doing something similar, and they were making like wooden planes.
Oh.
And the British were flying over, and they were seeing this wooden airfield being made, and like, what the hell's going off there? So they did a couple of spotter flyovers. And because of like having a weird sense of humor, they just dropped a load of wooden bombs.
That's really funny.
It's just like,
That's actually like they're just playing little wooden gore
and
games.
it was like on the bomb it said wood for wood.
I actually quite like that. That's quite funny.
I just watched the movie Mincemeat, which was about the invasion.
Operation
Mincemeat, which was about like the disinformation campaign that was done to when they were going to invade Sicily, and then they were like pretending that they were going to invade from somewhere else or wherever it was.
And they like completely constructed this entire human.
Yeah, with a backstory and a life.
Was this
and
the guy that's found dead in the sea in
Yes.
Spain?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
Like it was a pretty good movie actually, but there wasn't really much about wasn't much about it. It was
Yeah.
just
Love
mainly about two
story.
people falling in love.
I love
You're like,
story.
come on, where's me war? Where's me war?
Want to see me shooting?
She was the mince, he was the meat.
Oh, okay. Uncomfortable. So, Peach, other than being a World War II fan, you were going to say that it's not as popular anymore, right? I think that's what you were going to say.
That was a you statement, not me statement. But
Oh,
yeah,
I
I think
apologise.
since like actual huge events have happened in people's lifetimes now since World War II, it's more like the trend in things like movies and media has become about like the future and people worrying about the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's been long enough since World War II. And like I said, so many catastrophic things are happening today and so many like extremely life-changing revelations. Like mobile phones came around and then suddenly everybody has the access to everything. People are like, what's it going to be like in the next 5 years? What's going to happen in the next 5 years? Which is why a lot of movies now, like the interest is more towards wars in the future. And like what's happening right now as opposed to World War II.
It's weird because there's like a large historical community that still are into World War II.
Yeah.
And I know quite a lot of people that are into World War II, more so than probably like Napoleonics or ancients. They tend to be like the three biggies.
Except for Max, he
So,
loves
like,
Napoleonic.
Yeah, loves
Roman-based stuff, Napoleonic-based stuff, and World War II-based stuff tends to be like the majority of historical war games. But you're right, probably with the trends of like movies and stuff, that does influence.
Yeah.
But my worry as well is like if that stuff gets forgotten, it gets repeated. Which is always
I don't think. Yeah, I think war games are like a wonderful, fun pastime, but I'm not necessarily they're going to like. I'm not necessarily sure they're going to like influence or impact like how society moves forward.
No, but from a war game point of view, yes, that people just play the games because they want to reenact battles or like go, oh, how would I have done at this? Or I just like painting British.
And
in the
history's
desert.
cool.
And history's cool, but
History's cool.
But those people that do that tend to talk about it, and then eventually some people make videos about it, and then people watch those videos about Americans in.
You got this, Peach.
You got this,
You
Peach.
got this, Peach. Come on, buddy. I got you.
Could you put some more Duracell in the back?
They make the videos and
It's
then those
just-
videos.
Other than that,
hard
what else
because-
have you been doing? What else have you been doing?
I've been doing a video on the environment, or miniatures based on the environment. So
Environment,
games.
Eco Warriors that can destroy Games Workshop.
That's one, yeah.
Nice.
So that's been fun. Looking forward to
Just
that going
stop oil.
out.
Yeah.
I kind of like did a video. It's because it's a sponsor video, but my mantra is I will only be sponsored if I
Actually approve.
approve or
Yeah.
like the thing. And I enjoy the process of making the video itself, but I also thought I'd cater it to other people that might not be interested in that topic. So it's about doing a test model as well. So I'm like, do I mention that in the thumbnail? Do I mention that in the title? Because it is part of the video where I have these two figures and I want to do some tests on them. And it's that process of how I go about doing a test model and the journey. Because normally when I do a paint guide, I already know what I've done. I've already done the test model. I've already done the thought process.
I'm trying to think of how you could do a spin on it, which makes it very evergreen, which is like, I created the miniature with the smallest carbon footprint possible or something, where you use like the synthetic brush or I don't know, something like that.
I didn't
Where
use that,
every
but-
single stage you're like as whatchamacallit, as like
Carbon neutral as possible.
yeah, but then I'm like, oh, you'd be mixing your own pigments from like ground stone or something. But it could just be a good way to introduce people to more carbon neutral
Or you
companies
could
in general.
just do the normal process and go out and plant 5 trees. Like, just do that.
Just do whatever, and then plant 5 trees.
Yes, do whatever and plant 5 trees. And we're like, did it.
Did it? Yeah, carbon
Did
footprint,
it.
we're right down.
Cancelled.
Yeah, but that's me in a nutshell. Just busy doing that.
Louise, what you been doing?
I don't know.
You've had an
I'm
interesting weekend, haven't you?
sleepy.
Okay.
I'm eepy. We went to go visit my dad
You did.
and Susie, which
Yeah.
was lovely.
Shout them out.
They made. Oh, I forgot to bring him in. They made Jammy Dodger blondies.
They did.
Oh wow!
It was like a brownie but blonde.
Yeah.
It was amazing, incredible. Susie's an incredible cook. Me and Susie made some reels together for her Instagram. And then I introduced Susie to, Susie's my stepmom. I introduced her to VR for the first time. And it was really weird. She had a really weird time with it.
Yeah, she responded really weirdly.
I'd never seen somebody take to virtual reality so well, because I was like, oh, you might feel a little bit sick and try not to move around. And she's instantly just like, I'm having a pool party. How do I get to the tallest part of this building and jump off? And I'm like, Susie, you're a freak. But,
That's amazing.
but yeah, we had a really good time. And then we came back and I've been working, and I think it'll be out so I can talk about it.
You can talk about it, yeah.
Yeah, I can talk about video. I'm going to be, which
It'll
you
leave
can
me out.
watch
You can even show
now.
the box off
You can
because
watch now.
yeah,
Let's see, it feels weird saying that back in time.
yeah, back in
I
time.
don't like being back in time, Louise.
But you're younger.
Oh,
There
thank
you
you.
go.
Thank you so much. I am
Such a
looking younger.
that's a weird thing to
aren't
think. Yeah.
I? Yeah, I've got my video out, which is how to teach kids to paint miniatures.
Nice.
Which is one I've been working on for a very, very long time. And I'm really happy with it. I think I've done it. So I have like this big spiel at the beginning of it where I'm like, I do not have my own children.
You don't need to.
I feel like, I don't know.
don't.
I don't know. I
I
don't
agree,
know.
Peach. I
Some
agree.
of the best teachers
Really
don't
hard.
have their own kids.
Is that true?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh no. Because like I don't want
Can I just say
parents-
something?
yes,
Right.
please.
To be the best coach, you don't have to know the field.
I don't
So the person that taught Muhammad Ali wasn't better than Muhammad Ali, was he?
That's
I
true.
guess not. That's
That's true.
true.
The person that taught Andy Murray wasn't better than Andy Murray.
Yeah, he did boxing probably, Louise.
It's about knowing how to get the best out of
He did
people. He did
boxing.
boxing.
Did he?
Yeah.
No.
What did Andy Murray
He's a
do?
tennis player.
Is he?
From
Yeah,
Scotland.
tennis, yeah.
Huh? Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think his mum was the coach. But
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
See, there you go, Louise.
Yeah.
I know a
So you don't
story.
even have to be good at painting to teach him.
Yeah.
But
Just have to
thankfully
stay
you
one
are.
lesson ahead of
Yeah.
the kids. But yeah, I don't want, because I've had this thing before where it feels like, what's it called? Mum-splaining or parent-splaining, where I do this video and I talk about how I like to speak to the kids and how, like, you know, you get a good response out of them and like their boundaries. Because I talk a lot about how the kids feel. Because I remember what it felt like to be a creative kid being shoved in environments where I was
So
expected
there's your
to perform.
first-hand experience then.
Yeah, very much so. I actively remember what it was like to be that
Yeah.
age. And I say a lot about like, don't push your kids to come up to the front of the class to like, I don't know, present their thing. Ooh, a printer just turned on.
It's okay. Keep going.
And you have that worm, Peachy. Peachy brought in fizzy worms, which we've been
Sorry.
calling fuzzy worms. But yeah, I don't want to. So at the beginning, I'm like, I do not have my own children, and nothing in this video is supposed to sound like me saying I know better than parents because I don't. However,
Most
here's
parents
how
don't.
to talk to your child. Because I make a point, which I think is a really good point, which is, you know how whenever you see someone being like, oh, this is my kid's first miniature, it's always a Space Marine. Like most of the time, it's usually a Space Marine. I think that's a really shit miniature
Yeah.
to give your kid as
Yeah.
their first miniature. And
I made that mistake with Charlie actually.
Why is it a bad mini?
so I think it's a bad mini, just not because it's a bad miniature. I say this, I'm like,
Louise Sugden said Space Marines look bad.
that's the thumbnail.
That's the thumbnail.
Space Marine cross out. It's just how to teach your kids painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think you can pick better. I say like Rascal Town miniatures, which have like big expressive features and they're larger so a kid can paint an eyeball. And they look a lot more like kids' cartoons, which are designed to get kids to be a bit more responsive and they're a bit more engaging. A Space Marine is very small. It doesn't really have an expressive face. And it's fun for us adults to be like, my kid painted a Space
Yeah,
Marine.
yeah.
But I remember being young and being expected to like, I think it was like a rock painting thing or something like that, where the teacher had these like beautiful demonstration ones. And I wanted mine to look like that. And when I'd finished, it looked like shit.
Yeah.
But everyone was like, oh, it looks so good. And in my mind, I was like, I know it doesn't, and I never want to do this again.
Following on with the Rob school of telling kids that they're painting shit.
No,
Like,
this
which
is
we-
it. Don't set them up for failure. Give them something that they can actually color in without the need to like be too like, because I make the point where it's like, if I was a kid and my parent was like, here's the box art for a Space Marine, the eye lenses are red, but you can do whatever color you like. And then I'm literally a baby and I'm like a goo goo gaga on the eyes. And then I genuinely feel bad about what I've made. And for the adults, it's very cute. It's like, oh, they've done it. They've done their best. Look how much they've tried. Haha. But for the kid, they may genuinely be upset with what they've made. I think that's often overlooked. So giving them something a little bit bigger and giving them something a little bit easier, I think is a really good place to start.
Yeah.
It's a really good point, actually.
Yeah.
It's a really good point. I
mean,
hadn't thought about that at all.
If I look back when I used to get Airfix figures, I used to get like the tiny 1/72 scale Airfix figures, but then they end up doing the 54mm ones, which are quite large in boxes of 6 and stuff. I used to enjoy painting them more when I was younger.
Yeah.
than the actual tiny ones. Because you're right.
Is there an
But
option to make a
not-
video about how to teach adults to paint who also get to paint bigger minis
Follow
because
my
they
Patreon.
can't? I still can't do eyeballs. Yeah, so like if that's okay,
That's what a wash is
can you
for,
just
Rob.
tell me to not do
That's
eyeballs?
what
I'd be-
Agrax are shades for, and like Lord of the Rings scale miniatures because you don't need to paint the eyeballs on.
Who's
those.
going to see him?
Who's
My
gonna see
God.
'em? You
Talking
don't-
about that, so the Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings has got a new. They've announced their new.
War of the
War of the Rohirrim.
Rohirrim.
So there's been
In
a
the Rohirrim.
trailer for the animated series,
Yeah.
and there's also going to be a new edition of Middle-earth strategy
You know
battle
what
games.
I found really interesting about that whole release is like I said this to Rob the other day. Wait, I've got a little frog in my
It's okay.
throat. I said to Rob the other day, it's so cool the fact that, so say you were just really into the series and you knew nothing about Games Workshop or the miniatures, that's the thing that you would be following right now
yeah.
to get the most updates about the series.
Yeah.
Because they've basically shown off every single character and all the outfits and all the details and loads of artwork and loads of detail. And that blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like,
But-
Games Workshop is showing the most for that series.
On the flip reverse, the launch box though. So as I understand it, the launch box has
Haven't
got
seen it.
like
I'm gonna look at it.
the launch box has got two sons. And
Yeah.
quote me if I'm wrong in the comments.
Oh,
but
what
two
their
sons who
names?
aren't in the animation.
What?
And then the lead lady figure, who is like the front and center of the poster for the animation. I
Yeah.
assume she's the like central character.
Mhm.
Is not in the launch box. Maybe
Oh.
it's coming later,
Oh,
but like
interesting.
They may do like little character updates.
yeah, but it feels like that it's not it's like well, it's adjacent to the War of the Rohirrim
Yeah.
versus actually.
I mean, that could be like something that maybe ended up happening, and because of production,
Mm.
because obviously they work a good few years in advance, don't they?
Yeah.
They didn't. Because
Oh,
from
no.
working on Lord of the Rings, you would have had. There was a character that we painted. It was Azog the Defiler, and he got changed.
Oh,
And then we had this character like, what do we do with this guy? He's not in the movies.
oh,
Yeah.
So that could be what happened with the Sons.
that is interesting.
That they might have been characters that were there originally, and then they changed it.
So now
but
it's
they're
like-
just like
And now
Rohan
we have
captains
these
now.
miniatures.
But I do like that. I didn't notice it first because it came up on Instagram, and I was like, "Are they the same, or is it Rohan?" And I was like, "No,
They're not.
they're new."
They're
They're
here.
new. They're
Yeah,
new
no.
kids.
I assumed poorly that they were going to be a slightly different style. I thought they might make them a little bit more anime looking.
I
But
suppose
they
they want them
didn't.
to fit in with the
Yeah,
rest of
the rest of the range,
which
yeah.
So
makes
I've
sense.
tried to click the link and it doesn't work. 'Cause it's the new Warhammer.
Oh yeah, the new Warhammer Community site is also launched, which is
Oh,
pretty fun.
amazing.
Sorry, that page doesn't exist. Start typing to find out what you're looking for.
Okay, well let's not do that.
War.
Okay, so what do you both think about the launch box, Louise? What do you think about the
I
launch
was
box?
literally trying to find it so I could tell you.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
Peach.
know. I've not seen the launch box. I've only
Yeah, me
seen like the
too.
characters that have been mentioned,
Hmm.
the new Wild Men and the new Rohan. So I was looking at the kits. I didn't actually look at community.
Here
I
we
was
go,
looking
here we
at
go,
Instagram.
here we go.
But I didn't know about the two sons.
Oh, it's cool. Get some hooses. Get some wee hooses.
Oh, some houses.
Get some hooses.
Some
Yep.
houses.
You get some houses.
Loose about this moose.
Yeah, so the middle of
As the phrase goes. There you go. Haleth, Prince of Rohan, and Hama, Prince of Rohan. Then you get 24 warriors of Rohan, Hulf, leader of the Dunlendings, General Targ, and 24 hill tribesmen.
Isn't Hammer and Halith so Hammer gets killed by a warg on the way to Helm's Deep, and Halith is his son who's
Yeah.
like, "I'm Halith, son of Hammer, my lord."
yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, "Give me your sword.
Give
This is a
me
good
your-
sword."
Yeah. Yeah,
he's
then the
like,
kid gets brutally murdered.
cute. No, he
Yeah, they all
doesn't.
get brutally murdered.
And then that child.
Even the old man who unleashes that arrow into an Uruk-hai's neck at the
I
start.
really liked this guy. This guy was my wolf.
Let's
Wolf.
have a look.
Him,
Wolf.
him, leader of the
I do like because I
Dunlendings.
So
started
do,
watching
e-
it.
do
and
either of you collect or paint any Lord of the Rings
Yeah,
minis?
I have
or
before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not as much as Peachy. I did a war band way back in the day of whatchamacallit,
Battle
Wood
Companies?
Elves. It was Battle Companies.
Yeah.
They're in the second Battle Companies book. In fact, they are a featured army there. And yeah, I really like them. I like the scale. They're a little bit finer and more delicate. I find lots of the sculpts are beautiful.
Mm.
And I really like playing the game as well. It's a good game.
Peach?
I had quite a lot of stuff because they did the War of the Ring game, which was, I wish they did more with that. So you'd have like, I mean, I've got like 90 Mordor Orcs, 48
Wow.
Rohan Orcs, like two units on. But my Rohan and Uruk-hai army disappeared somewhere in the tower of Workshop, and I've never yet found it.
Oh no.
So they owe me an Uruk-hai army
Yeah.
and a Rohan army.
Games Workshop, please contact us.
Yeah.
Our address is our address
never
is
found
the
it.
Juggz.
It got used
.com.
for photography and then just never came back. So,
That's so sad.
and it's one of those things you don't think about at the time, but I forgot about. But yeah, I've got a lot. Weirdly, I've got a Wood Elf collection that I did a while back for battle companies, and I like what ifs, right? I'm a big fan
Yeah,
of
I
what
know
ifs.
you like. Oh, what's your what? Oh, I love it.
My what if for my army is imagine if Galadriel did take the ring from Frodo.
That's cool.
Oh,
And
elf or
So not only does she murderfy Frodo, but she murderfies the entire
she would
fellowship.
never murderfy Frodo. She'd keep him as a weird little
she's
Smeagol
taken the ring,
slave.
Louise.
Yeah, but she'd keep him on a little leash and be like, dingle, dangle, dingle. Dingle, dingle, dangle.
No, because he'll try and get the ring off her like Gollum
Yeah,
would,
but then
so
you
she knows
just
this.
chop off his legs.
Well, in my story, they're all dead.
Okay.
Aragorn's dead, and Arwen is now got all like white hair because she's like sad because her boyfriend died.
Oh no.
That's what happens when your boyfriend
Granny
dies.
murked her
Yeah.
boyfriend, and
Wow.
now she's like all evil.
You should make a video out of
I
this.
should. I've got like Minas Morgul's that weird eerie green glow.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
basically done their armor like that.
The
and
weird
the robes.
filter.
Yes, it's all jades.
That's fun. I love that the leader of the resistance is definitely Samwise.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Like with
Yeah.
like a patch over one
Yeah.
eye,
Yeah.
and he's now just
Post-apocalyptic
bitter.
Samwise.
He's like, oh, sometimes I think of Rosie. Yeah,
Rosie Cotton
and that's why I
dancing.
stab every orc I can find. Yeah.
Why did he sound like a little bit Spanish?
I don't know. That's
I
because he
liked
does. Yeah.
But that's good. I
Oh,
like that
it's
because
a-
I reckon Aragorn's been killed.
French.
Frodo's been killed. Maybe a couple of hobbits. I think I'll keep Legolas, Gimli, Sam as like leaders
You
of the
need to
resistance.
keep Pippin alive just to fuck with everyone.
Yeah.
Fuck with
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
He's just a
No,
klutz.
you keep Pippin alive just so Sam can hang him for like
Oh
not
my
for like not committing enough to the resistance. Like you're like that's your opening scene. You're like with a tear, like a single tear, down Samwise's eye. Yeah, as Pippin swings from the tree, he says, "There'll be just no room for remorse in this army." Yeah, you're
There
like,
won't be
Jesus
much
fucking
room.
Christ. Yeah, Lord of the Dark Rings is.
Jesus fucking Christ,
I know,
Rob.
it's pretty rough. One of the things that's interesting about the Middle-earth strategy battle game
Yeah.
is
Best game system ever made.
that's what a lot
That's
of people
what a lot of people say. I enjoyed it.
Okay, so this is a really interesting kind of like pivot. Is that it's considered to be like one of the best games made, and also the IP is super popular.
Yeah,
It's Lord
yeah,
of the
yeah.
Rings.
Great miniatures
and-
as well.
yeah, exactly. And we were talking about Shatterpoint the other earlier, Peach, and we've had this conversation previously, which kind of pivots us into Necromunda.
Nice. Yeah.
Right, it pivots us into that, which is
Naturally pivots us into natural
Well,
segue.
yeah, I think so because it's the same thing.
Just a
It's
short hop.
It's a smaller skirmish game, right? Where there is, just a vast amount of IP.
Yeah.
And like 40K, which is really dominant, it's set in the 40K setting. So with it being 40K and also it being like an easier game, at least miniatures wise to get into.
Oh, yeah,
like,
miniatures-wise, yeah.
you buy a box of.
Yeah.
It's the
of-
difference between a 2,000-point army and 10.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start us off with my first question because I'd like to ask you what you both think about
So this
Necromunda
is now
generally.
a Necromunda episode.
Yeah. But I did
Yay!
it. I think
You
quite
did
well.
it!
Yeah, like
We
why do you
forgot
think?
to ask how your week was.
Oh,
Good.
Well, we'll come back to that. How's
Oh,
that sound?
okay.
Yeah, because I pivoted as nice.
Pivot.
Yeah.
I pivoted.
I spent the entire week thinking about how to
And
pivot.
reading the Secundus.
Yeah, I did. I did
Oh,
actually.
you did? Well,
Yeah, yeah.
that sounds
I
like
did
a
read the
natural
Hive Secundus
pivot.
book.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, why do you think that like Necromunda has never caught on? Because Middle Earth strategy battle game is big, but it's not 40K big.
Yeah.
Right? Why? And the same question: why has? Because they say Kill Team's really big, but I think it's because people are just buying.
Yeah.
They're buying 40K models, and they think Kill
Oh
Team's
yeah, I
big
just
because
want
of
the
that.
Night Lords for
Ex-
40k.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? What do you think is about Necromunda that doesn't make it like There's always
It's just
a Necromunda game at your local game store.
I don't know. It's just not 40k, is it?
You
It's-
just think it's because it
I
is
literally-
40K.
Yeah, no, but it's not the big game with Space Marines and Sisters of Battle and Tau.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just lesser known. I think that's the. I think if they were like, we're releasing a new 40k game which is 2,000 points, it's set in Necromunda, here's your 2 new armies that you can make,
Mhm.
people would be just as into it.
Interesting.
I think I'm going to do a
Interesting.
sneeze over
So-
here.
What do you think, Peach?
When Lord of the Rings came out, you had to support the movies, right? So
Mhm.
the movies were carrying that game. And people coming to the shops that had seen the movies didn't know.
Or even
about
just
the
see it in
figures.
the window
Yeah,
display.
seeing the window because
yeah.
we used to use all the banners.
Yeah.
And people would come in just for
I
that.
remember that.
So that's why Workshop did really well during that period and Middle Earth became almost competing with 40k at times. Poor old Warhammer just like sunk to the bottom.
What fantasy?
Yeah, which
Bless
that
him.
always struggled. But then with Age of Sigmar that's changed a bit. But the thing with Necromunda, I still think it gets a lot of support, certainly from a business point of view. And
It does.
And I know there's a vast community out there that are really into it, and I've attended some of the events for those.
for sure, yeah.
Because you've got the Sump City Radio guys that run
they're
SumpCon.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've chatted to them many times. They've got like the Discord and stuff, and I jump in. But it doesn't have. Obviously, it's never had like movies and stuff like that, so it's got more of a niche following, if that makes sense. I don't think it'll ever compete with like Lord of the Rings. Not at the moment. Even now, Lord of the Rings is what 20 years old.
Oh,
It's still
I still watch it every single year.
yeah. It's got
Like, and it
decent
doesn't
following.
feel old.
But I would say Necromunda is supported better than Kill Team.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. What do you both think of? What do you both think of? Like, does it start from the beginning? What do you both think of? Like, when I say Necromunda, what's the first thing? And same for the people who are watching this. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Gang warfare.
I was gonna say gangers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the characterfulness of all the different gangs.
Okay.
I love the setting. I love the Underhive. I think that's all really, really original. But for me, the first thing I think of is all the different gangs and how cool that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Gang
Peach.
warfare in a hive. That's how it's always been to me. It's like in the old days, it was just one hive. There was never like millions scattered on the planet. It was just one. There was these 6 gangs. There was some above, which were the noble houses. You never saw them, never spoke about them. Just these 6 gangs shooting it out in the Underhive. Maybe the odd rat skin or scabby will turn up.
Interesting. What's your favorite gang? Each of you.
Oh, it's a tricky one. I like Corridor and Delac.
Oh,
Okay, why?
I like the Corridor because I think they're the most me. They're all that is the medieval-y guys.
Yeah,
isn't it,
yeah.
with the rats.
yeah.
They're the most. I think they're the most me. They look cool. They're all medieval. There's one called Snood Gambison.
Nice.
Ooh.
Oh, most of them are named after like some form of jacket. aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to help name them all, which is why there's one called
That'd be why you
Snood
like them.
Gambison.
Let's go Snood Gambison.
And I just think they aesthetically are the coolest. And then I like Delac because I like their lore the most.
Okay. Or what part of the law?
I like the Lovecraftian elements of the lore that they've done recently
Yes,
about the
yeah.
I did if you want to find out more about this, you
Ooh.
can watch my because I forget we're on a podcast sometimes and people can watch this as well.
Yeah.
You can listen to my creepy Warhammer mystery iceberg video where I talk a little bit about the ancient gods of Necromunda.
Oh yes,
And it's very Lovecraftian, it's very spooky, and it just fleshes out the entire planet in a way which you really wouldn't expect.
Interesting.
And the Delac are very much kind of like tied into all that ancient lore of Necromunda. I think that's really cool.
That is cool.
Also, what if I told you Delac weren't actually human?
I'd believe that.
You would believe that.
That's
They're
big shock.
entirely different from any other gang on Necromunda.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Oh,
All right, well, we'll come back to that.
Back in the-
Peach, you're-
Oh yeah, I've got back in
Yeah.
the day. The Delacs were more based off. There was a game called
Aliens.
Syndicate,
Yeah.
which had bold guys in leather, storm coats and stuff. She just likes bold guys in leather, apparently. That's why we're mates, right?
I was like, I'm not in leather or bold. What's Peachy saying?
I was reaching. I was like
she
the
likes
sides
corridor
of your
guys
head.
too.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, am I a corridor guy? I'm not sure.
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
Yours
Yeah,
is.
my gangs.
What are the biker ones?
What's your favorite?
That's
What, the
Orlocks.
Orlocks?
That's Orlocks.
Orlocks
They're
pretty
cool.
cool.
Dirty scabs.
Oh yeah, Rob had a heartbreak getting into Necromunda lore. We'll get around to that.
Oh, I need to find this out. But yeah, Escher. Always been a fan of
Obviously,
Escher. I like
obviously.
me warrior women with bright coloured hair.
They're
Pretty
great.
cool. And
Scantily clad what or warrior women.
the old
Let's be
ones,
honest,
well,
Peach.
yeah, they've
They're
got
actually
bras.
not that scanty.
Yeah.
Oh,
Even
they
the old
not?
ones,
No. They all wear like leather. There's very few because they wear like
Trousers.
like even the boob armor isn't just boob armor.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like tank tops
Yeah,
which
you
show
get a
off
bit of
their
midriff.
abs.
Just-
I
They're
think the fact that you say,
massive
I think the
abs.
fact that you're saying boob armor kind of like
Oh, I'm sorry that
benefits-
women have boobs.
I need armor.
Protection, Robert. I'm so sorry.
I think you just have
sorry that
normal-
inconveniences.
I think you just have regular armor. I think. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
you also got to look hot doing it.
Oh right, okay. I apologize. That's different.
That is
That is different.
Yeah, that's true.
And
But
they do.
Yeah, I didn't know about the pressure on women in the Underhive, in the need,
keep their
even
titties from
in the
getting
far
exploded.
future. Yeah, even in the far future, Warhammer 40,000, where war is eternal. He's like, there's still like the pressure on women to look hot.
do
I
wonder
feel
where
like
that
that's
design
what
aesthetic
the
came
Mad
from.
Donna eventually what drove her mad.
Yeah, because she had the
Yeah.
cone nipple armor as well.
She's like, you want to look at him? I'll fucking poke your eye out with him.
I do wonder where that aesthetic came from, like the Eshes, because what was it? Just
You
rock
know where it
chicks?
came from.
Just
It was
rock
the
chicks?
80s, yes.
Yeah.
Like,
what were the comic books that used to come out with them? What were they called?
Inferno?
Yeah,
No,
it was Inferno because there was a lot of.
And there was Gang War as well. Which
There was.
came
I
out, yeah.
think I'm talking about Inferno. I think I've got a few covers of Inferno which are quite scantily clad Eschers,
That's
which are in
true,
that
yeah,
very kind of
yeah.
like 80s sci-fi sort of like boob armor sort of
Yeah.
deal. I love Eschers.
Yeah.
could either of you give me like a TLDR on the, like, because Necromunda was simultaneous with Rogue Traders, after Rogue Trader? Like, do either of you happen to know?
It was
No.
after second edition came out.
Right,
and
okay.
it used the second edition rule system. So combat, weirdly, was quite clunky. I'm playing Gang Warfare with the...
Weirdly, with the Games Workshop game?
Okay.
I was about to say weirdly.
I think-
Coming
Weirdly.
right after Rogue Trader.
As is tradition.
Yeah. I mean, I never played much second edition, but I played Necromunda and I was like, wow, this combat system is quite clunky if you're doing more than like 2 people fighting.
Yeah.
So imagine squads fighting against you, must have taken ages.
Yeah, disaster.
So for Necromunda, it made sense, but for like something like 40k, when you've got like 10 guys versus 10, that's a lot of dice rolling involved. But yeah, it was second edition rule system. It pretty much used.
Okay, great. So yeah, it would have been the 80s, right?
Mid 90s.
I think it's
early 80s.
let me do a
mid-90s.
Google.
Early 80s,
late
maybe
80s, mid 90s.
Yeah, maybe late 80s.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
quite interesting. So like, so my follow-up question is, do you feel like, because we talked about 40k on the previous show,
Yeah.
separating out and maybe being different to what it once was.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not as
First
cool.
edition of Necromunda started with the release of first Necromunda rulebook in 1995.
Whoa.
I thought it was earlier than
Yeah.
that.
I thought it was
I
earlier.
always thought that as well.
Yeah.
1995.
Dang,
Okay.
I was 3.
So do you feel like it has maintained? I don't want to load the question too much,
The
but
charm?
do you feel like it's maintained the quintessential like beginning elements of 40k?
What do you
For-
mean beginning elements?
Like
of
40k had a like.
Do you mean setting wise or rules wise?
I'm now talking aesthetics and setting.
Oh, good.
Like
I can join in
specifically.
again.
Yeah, aesthetic, setting, and lore
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. It feels like, so my statement would be, and so see if you argue against it. My
Okay.
statement would be, it feels like what 40k maybe was intended to be more like.
It's still quite punk. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm
grim.
trying to say.
Yeah. It has more fun. I would say way more fun with its individual characters. Like the fact that you're still seeing Eschers go around with those like massive mohawks that just all miniatures had back in like the 90s and stuff. I think it's still kept a lot of the charm that Warhammer had before.
Yes, I agree with
but
that.
obviously they've like made it more realistic and gritty and grimier and stuff. But I still do think it has a lot of that old school charm, which makes it quite attractive.
Weirdly, when the new edition came out,
Yeah.
I wasn't really zazzed at the time with it, and that's
was
because I was
zazzed.
doing other stuff like Warcry. I was like really into Warcry,
Mm.
but I had that old kind of like grognard attitude, which was like, it's not like the old stuff, is it? It's not like the old stuff. Then I started playing with some of the plastics and building. I was like, these are mega. So I got right into it, and there was like a thing during lockdown where I ended up, because I was going to get my family around, because we used to play Necromunda all the time.
Yeah.
That's cute.
And I did one of each gang. I just didn't get around to doing the advanced SARS at the time, but I did all the other 5, the main gangs, with the intention of doing all the others. And it felt that it was keeping that vibe from the original, even though it was moving it on. And I like the fact that the story keeps moving on as well, and there's like new stuff, but it definitely feels like 40k of old. And it's kept that. And I think that's why I like it more than 40k and Kill Team.
You said it.
I think that's a lot of people's feelings. Louise, would you say you feel similar?
Yeah, so release wise, if you put like all the releases in 40k of the last like 5 years and all the releases of Necromunda in the last 5 years and asked me to make a shopping list, I reckon the split would be something like 80 Necromunda to 20.
Yeah,
Because there'll be an occasional 40k thing that comes out like
Every model's a Necromunda model, Louise.
Right. That's it. So like there'll be like I don't know. And I'm not counting Age of Sigmar because then it would be all Age of Sigmar, because Age of Sigmar I think has one of the best miniature ranges out there. But as far as just like shopping around for cool miniatures, there'll be an occasional 40k one that I like. Like I really like Night Lords. There'll be a Space Marine that I feel particularly inspired by. There'll be the squats that came out recently. We had this chat the other day, but then it seems like every single Necromunda miniature just freaking slaps on a really individual basis.
Agreed. Yeah. And also any 40k release that comes out, I can find a way of getting that into Necromunda.
Yeah.
The game allows it. The game, it's
Yeah.
just regardless of which like gang you pick, or because there's hired scum, there's bounty hunters, there's like the dramatis persona that you can pick, and then you get your Venator squads where you can just like, I'm just going to make up my own custom gang. If I got like a Votann gang or like one of the cool collector's edition models, I could find a way of sticking
the
that
Votann, the new Votann guys with like the little jackets and the hats. And
Yeah,
stuff.
the Hearth,
So
are they called the
good.
Hearth Guard? They're called something.
Imagine them in
Yeah.
like the frozen north of like Necromunda.
The north.
Yeah, the north.
the North.
But yeah, I love it. And even if you're reading about Necromunda and stuff, so I like the Warhammer horror series,
in.
and one of them is set in like an Underhive, and I think it's implied to be Necromunda.
Yeah.
And there's some really spooky stuff happening with like Space Marines
Oh,
as like the horror characters inside Necromunda.
oh,
Like
wow.
it's really cool. I don't want to
Yeah,
spoiler it because
yeah.
it gave me shivers.
Because I know Lord
But-
of Night does that, where it's like there's one Night Lord and he is in a hive,
Yeah.
and he's not there to kill everyone, he's there to cause terror
Yeah.
because he likes the feeling
Yeah.
of the terror being caused, and he's like skinning the leader of a gang and murdering like
It's
20% of
very
them.
much of that ilk.
Yeah, yeah, that's
which I
cool.
love. Yeah, like you can like. So one of the things which people forget about Necromunda, just the one hive itself, it's impossibly huge. Like every enclave is the size of like 5 cities.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Yeah, absolutely massive. Yeah, I was just reading the new Hive Secundus
Yes, you are.
lore, actually, which is pretty interesting. So, like, it's effectively like the third area they've moved into, right? Like, Hive Primus was the initial launch, then they moved into the Ash Wastes,
Yeah.
and then they moved into Hive Secundus, which, you know, is really their opportunity to create, like, effective, like, it's really interesting. There's, like,
Tell us about it.
There's timey-wimey stuff. Basically, Hive
There's
Secundus...
timey-wimey stuff.
Yeah, Hive Secundus was a really beautiful place
Yeah, it fell
where
over.
it was protected from the criminality of everything that occurred in Hive Primus.
Oh wow.
And it was a center for learning and education. It was beautiful. And then some gene sealers come take over everything, and then eventually they just like nuke it from
Fuckers.
space. After building a big wall around it. That's the quick TLDR. But like then because they did like gravity bombs and virus bombs and everything, they've then been able to like, because again, like you say, it's sensationally huge. Like, imagine the entire USA or bigger.
Yeah, literally.
It's huge. And then the idea is that there's still settlements and people still living in Hive Secundus. Like, there's warlords and, you're trying to navigate through this thing. It gives them an opportunity for like an almost infinite, like, land to create a bit of extra story inside of. That's definitely what it felt like, which is quite interesting, I thought.
So how do you think it differs, the setting? Because like, I'm imagining Hive Primus as basically like ruins. How does the setting differ from not Secundus as like ruins? How does it differ from Primus and the Ashways? Like, what makes this setting as cool as Primus and the Ashways?
Primus is Mega City 1 from what's it called?
Dredd.
Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Then it's Mad Max in the Ash Wastes, and now they've just done like Evil Horrorscape. They've done
what's it like? Like, how are people living down there? What's like, is there law? Is there order?
Oh no, there's not. There's like just different civilizations trying to survive, and also horrors unbeknownst in a million. Effectively like when they tried to describe like
spooky.
chaos. Yeah, it's just spook.
Yeah.
There's spook and
Lots
there's not
of
spook.
Lovecraftian. Is it like unimaginable horrors beyond indescribable horrors that we will spend the next 5 paragraphs describing?
Exactly.
That's my favorite Lovecraftian trope, where he's like an undescribable horror with 5 tentacles and evil eyes.
Yeah, I was reading some old world lore the other day, and they were talking about the north where the Chaos Wastes were, and they were like, there are impossible fortresses, and I was like, I mean, then they don't exist. You don't. You don't understand. And I was just like, I was like, imagine you're trying to lay siege to an impossible fortress. Imagine you're just trying to do the admin in the impossible fortress. You're just trying to bring supplies in.
It's
impossible. And therefore it wouldn't succeed and be a fortress.
So I had this comment on my YouTube today, because when I talk about like some Lovecraftian stuff in my Warhammer Mystery Iceberg, I refer to it being like non-Euclidean space, which is something Lovecraft often says to describe the realm of Relay where Cthulhu lives, where there's like angles which bend in the wrong way and stuff like that. And he describes it as non-Euclidean. And then I had someone in my comment section be like, please just Google what Euclidean means, please. And I'm like, no. because Lovecraft never Googled it, so I'm not going to fucking Google it.
Lovecraft never Googled it.
I need you to know, I
you.
think there's a lot of things Lovecraft should have Googled.
Like
Yeah.
tolerance.
Yeah, tolerance.
So-
yeah.
And how to not live off beans.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with
What's the
living off
question?
beans. So Impossible Fortress to me
Yeah.
means it's a well-run fortress and everyone gets on.
That's
that would be an impossible fortress.
it's funny. I'm
The
going to call
management's
Everyone's well
good.
supplied.
Everyone's well supplied.
Yeah.
the impossible Christmas dinner.
There's opportunities for advancement based on merit. It's just really good.
They tell you you're doing well and not just because you're
Yeah.
doing badly.
They'll see a guy in the battlements looking a bit like Ty, just go to bed.
Just have a
I'll-
rest.
Have a nap.
take it-
You'll
have
be
a nap.
10 times more efficient
That is
the
an
next
impossible
day if you're
fortress.
rested and well.
So
Now
it does exist. So chaos ain't all that bad.
So,
That's really funny.
so would one of the things that I think is interesting, Peach, you always say like every mini can be a Necromunda mini, and I think maybe more so than anything else that 40k does, is it's because it has like a setting, albeit like an impossible amount of underhives and places you know to exist. I feel that there's a setting and like a structure that you can like
There's
tell more
rules?
story around.
Yeah.
Like not like there's a rule to the society. Is
Yeah,
what
the
I'm trying to
structure
say.
is a good word.
There's
yeah.
structure.
And
Yeah.
the interesting thing is, like, you can have any Xenos there without it needing that much
I
explanation.
like the fact you say Xenos.
Xenos.
Yeah.
So if I wanted a Kroot, because I've got with my Necromunda collection, I've got a Kroot Hound and a Kroot, and I'm going to have them in my warband.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because you've got void ships coming in all the time,
You've
travelers.
literally got the exotic pets dealer
Exotic
as
pets
a miniature.
dealer. There's also like inquisitors or people that hire these folks, or they've been on campaigns. So like, let's say, like because they supply massive amounts of war gear to the Imperium. They also supply troops to the Imperium. So you can imagine commanders are going to come back with followers.
With a little Kroot pup, you get a little crumb.
Yeah.
Like, come on, go.
The
just,
Ultramarines
grab
have
it.
a fortress there. There's like an
I didn't know that.
yeah, it's the Imperial
Oh.
Fists. They have it, but you could almost say there's ones that have come to be on secondment or something like that. You have Sisters of Battle there. There's like temples for them or whatever the abbeys.
Yeah,
Abbeys.
and so in the horror story, I think it's set in like an orphanage, which is run by like a hospitaller and stuff. It's very
Yeah.
cool.
So there's every. I mean, I've got like a bunch of Sisters of Battle that I have in Necromunda, and that's because they're there with the Cawdor, because Cawdor are very fervent, very like religious, and they're like, we can get these to work for us because they think we're gods. You did that with Escher, you'll get stabbed. You did that with Goliath, you'll probably get ripped in half.
Get crumped. Just
Get crumped,
Get
yeah.
nuggied to
Yeah.
death.
Yeah, so there's every race in 40k, whether that's alien, chaos, or whatever, you can find a way to stick them in to Necromunda. And that's the beauty of it. And anything that's not 40k, so Age of Sigma, I can find a way of sticking into Necromunda because you've got ornate armor, you've got decorative armor. So I could do like a Stormcast with like a helmet.
I feel like the Grots would do very well in
Oh, yeah.
Necromunda.
Oh, yeah, they have
I
a
feel
great
like
time.
I feel
Grots
like
with humans' heads, which is what I've done.
oh
looks
my
really,
god,
really
that's
good.
really no, it does. It's very. I've seen it, and it's not. It's really weird, Peachy.
It's great. Like little munchkin
I
people.
feel like the Grots just need a new manager, and they'd work really, really well. Like if you're like, we're not going to beat you, we're just going to give you some bread.
Yeah.
They'd be like,
Do you know where they need to go?
sire.
The Impossible Fortress.
Oh yeah, they do
Yeah,
great
yeah.
in the
They'll do
Impossible
great.
They'd have a great time.
Fortress.
They'd be fed bread. They'd be loving it. Yeah, I think
like
that goes something
some
against
bread.
the grot nature.
I don't know. I think they do. I think they'd thrive in a different environment.
Louise, they're not mistreated orphans.
Yes,
they're
they are.
savage murderers
No, they're just
that
And
will rip your
food.
eyelids off.
They're just little pointy boys. They're just a little bit pointy, and I think they would thrive in better working conditions. I also work in the Impossible Fortress.
So why then? Like, would the statement be? Would you say that 40k? Sorry, Necromunda feels like the setting, the minis, the everything feels more like the OG 40k.
Yeah.
Kind of and kind of not. Because for
Okay.
me, OG 40k is still the Horus Heresy. It's still beaky Space Marines.
me.
It's still like church-looking cathedral, big spaceships, Space Hulk. Like for me, that's still OG 40k.
Okay,
But
That's
it's
fair.
also a lot of OG 40k for me is the humans being very punk, being very like cool being very ragtag and stuff like that. 40K is so many things.
Interesting. That's a fair
And
point.
I think it does, but also it doesn't, because for me, OG 40K is still the big guy stuff as well.
I was also going to say, it just occurred to me, because I know Ali will probably drop a message, but there was it was done during Rogue Trader. Actually, I will go back on my statement, because it was called initially Street Violence, which I think Foundry ended up taking up, and then it was called Confrontation for a time. So Necromunda did exist before.
I remember those.
Before it's
Yeah,
canonization.
Yeah.
Well, Necromunda, the game is different from there is an underhive with this kind of
gang
stuff.
fights,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
gang fights.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. So my question is like, because I feel like it's really well supported
Yeah.
as a game system.
Oh,
I agree,
100%.
yeah.
They've got a huge team now, like way, way, way bigger than when I ever worked there. It's massive.
Yeah, big team, big releases. Just had Hive Secundus come out.
Yeah.
But so interestingly, I put a picture up of me reading the Secundus
It's a
book.
very nice picture. I wonder who took it.
Appreciate that, Louise.
Your lovely roommate who knows your angles.
and it was interesting reading the comments, because like I've said myself, but I'm speaking as the comments for now, because I've said this myself
I
loads.
hear a lot of times
Yeah,
online.
I have read a lot of comments on my Instagram posts that everyone was like, I absolutely love the minis, which I personally do. I absolutely love the lore, which I personally do.
Yeah.
And then
Don't play the game.
the game is Garbo.
Oh, I've
Like-
never played it.
Really?
Like,
I've
that's
literally
it.
never played it.
I think I wonder about its
That's not
popularity, because I want it feels like the barrier to entry is massively
the actual
high.
game. Do you
Yeah.
think the barrier to entry in Necromunda is just the game itself, and
The-
everyone
the
else
rule
is like
set, yeah.
clawing
Do you know-
at the walls to get in, but the game
I
is
think
just-
everyone is that meme, where they're like, let me in,
Let me in."
and then someone's like, here's 7 books, and that's what I get
the books
told.
are lovely
Yeah.
though as well.
Yeah, that's what I get told a lot. Like, the rules are all over the place. You've got to do a million
Yeah.
things. Like, I actively do a lot of game stuff, and with on stream, I've like built gangs before, and I'm like, this is a nightmare.
Do you know what I think it is?
What?
It's because they've made it so
Big.
big and expansive, and they've done a book for every house. I think it was only recently with the new rule book that had all the special rules in the back. Up to that point, you only had the special rules in the back of your house books, and sometimes you didn't even have the special rules. Sometimes for some of the stats in those rules, you'd be like, "Where's the special rule for this?"
Or if you've got
Because-
some like hangers on and
Yeah,
stuff like
but
that,
it
it's
was-
in a completely different
It
book.
was a really clunky game system.
Yeah.
So no, it's not a clunky game system. I quite like the game system. It works really well. It's how it's ordered, and I think there needs to be like a getting started section, which is in the rule book. You have a champion, a leader, and a Juve.
Oh, give us a
stat
flow
line.
chart.
Just like a simple stat line for getting started. So this is your. If you want to do Eshes, you got some Eshes and you got some Goliaths.
That's a really
use
good idea.
use
Yeah.
these stat lines. That's how much points they cost. You play some games with that, because when you get to the rules, like you do activation, you activate. I roll a dice, you roll a dice. We work out who has got priority. I then activate a figure. I can do 2 actions. You look at the things you can do as actions, and I'm like, I can move. That's a simple one. Okay, and then it's like the simple, and then there's double, and then I forget what the other one's called. But like the simple, you can do as many times as you want, up to 2. The other one's standard, maybe. The other one, you can only do that once, but you can do something else. And then double means you can only do double. And it's just clunky.
Yeah.
And there's like 2 pages of these rules. And if you like take Warcry, it's like move, shoot, fire. That's the 3 things you need to remember.
Yeah.
Move,
Easy.
shoot, fire. So what do I do in my 2 actions? Do I move twice? Do I move and shoot? Do I move and fire? Do I fire and move? Do I fire and fire? That's all you need to worry about. In Necromunda, there's so many things in like across 2 pages just for the activation alone.
I like the idea of having like a getting into the, like you're basically tutorial level characters where you're like, if you want to try the game, if you're working it out, here's your stat lines to work it out.
Yeah.
And from there you can make it more complex.
Yeah.
How about because this is kind of question, because I'm absolutely Necromunda pilled, yeah, and
You
I want
love
to just
it. It could be huge for you.
Yeah, so I want to be really clear for everyone like at home who's listening to this.
Hello,
If you love Necromunda and you're like, I love how the game currently plays, it's the fucking best, and I love it to pieces. I'm super happy for you,
I don't play, so I don't have an opinion.
and that's really great. Like, I want to know, like I'm not trying to change your lives
Yeah,
or yuck your yum.
I'm
but-
trying to yuck their yum.
I'm just trying to say that, like, as someone who like covers games like a lot, it feels imperceptible. Like, one of the things that gets thrown at Old World a lot as an
Impossible.
impossible. Yeah,
Incomprehensible.
It's an impossible game.
Unexplainable.
Yeah. What's that word you use?
Non-Euclidean.
Yeah, it's a non-Euclidean game.
That actually adds up. Yeah,
that does.
Don't Google it.
As someone who like covers old world, like, you know, full time, you know, people are like, oh, isn't there so many rules? I'm like, there actually are a lot of rules, and some of the bits get a little bit clunky, but actually on the basis of it, it's really simple. You got a block of dudes, you move them that way, that you move that way, you do some shooting, you do some magic, you do some fighting, and like, there's a skirmish unit. You literally have to do algebra, and you have to bring in 3 priests, an old one, a young one, and one you're going to sacrifice to work out what's going to happen with the skirmish unit, right? That's what's going to happen, right?
Bring me 3 priests. That's what me and Rob say when we wake up and we're really tired. It's like, get me an old priest and a young priest.
What are you doing with these priests?
Just using them. Using them. That's what we're doing. But even then, I say to people, I'm like, look, you know, like the barrier to entry is there, but like, you know, you should go through it. I have read through the Necromunda core rules.
For you to say it's complicated.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I really feel like people need to hear this. For
Reddit's going to call you a dick later.
Who?
Reddit.
Yeah. That's fine.
And
they're doing it already.
Wargamer.
Yeah. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah, but I think the fact that someone like me says, come on,
I agree.
That's complex, right? And maybe too much.
Would some people, shall I put on my dickhead hat?
Yeah.
What if some people were what if some people were like, but that's what makes it fun?
So I want to get into that.
Yeah.
Because it's got merits for both.
Mm.
I think if I was to join that rule system right now, like you, it's quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information thrown at you. The book's really thick. And then when you do finally get around to working out how to create your character and you start writing your stat lines for your weapons down, there's all these special rules like melee, backstab, toxin, scatter. You know, that's just like a handful. Like, what do they all mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes some weapons have multiples, not just one. They have like loads. You're just like, that's a lot to remember for a weapon. Why is this so much? But then what it does is once you get playing a few games, the melee thing's quite straightforward. The sidearm rule's quite straightforward. You don't ever need to look at that rule again. You're like, oh, if I've got a pistol and a dagger, I can use them both in combat. Cool. Once you know all these little niggly bits that become like the standard part of the game system, then a lot of those special rules almost feel like there's no need for them to be there.
And you're only playing like 10 miniatures.
At
a time.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
And it might be the same 10 miniatures for a very long time as well.
And even then, it's not always 10 because depending on the scenario, you have a gang and you can only take 4 of them.
Yeah. I just think I'm speaking for a bunch of people out there.
I agree. I struggle with game systems at the best of times, and Necromunda does feel like it I could get into it, but it would feel like someone would have to sit me down and help me for 2 sessions.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, because I think if there was anything that's like very Louise Sugden Pilled, it's Necromunda.
Oh, 100p.
Yeah.
I've painted so many Necromunda miniatures. I gave some to Peachy today, actually. Yeah, I've painted loads and loads of Necromunda miniatures. And yeah, it would definitely appeal to me, but it's just a bit intimidating. But that's not Necromunda specifically. No hate to like the writers or anything. I'm sure they're really, really good. I'm hard pressed to get into any game. I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair. What do you think it would require for you to be inspired to play?
So inspired to play, I think have a friend.
Okay, nice.
Hi.
I've got everything.
I was about to say have a friend that has everything and time.
Okay, that's fun.
That's it.
Yeah, that's fun.
Time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we're time poor.
Peach, you do play. Like, what are the common challenges for people who want to like? For people out there who are like interested about starting, and they're like, "Oh, Rob's made it sound like it's an impossible challenge."
I'm on Reddit and I've said Rob's a dickhead.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of people reach out in the past going, "I want to get into Necromunda. Where do I start?"
Yeah,
and there is a bit of a cost involved, but not in comparison to like 40k. So you do need the rule book. So if you buy Secundus, you get the rulebook in there, you get 2 starting forces, and you get a lot of stuff.
Or find the rulebook.
Sorry.
Carry on. This is for other people, Peach, don't worry.
Okay, yeah.
So find it. Yeah.
Legally?
No, legally from your friend. From your friend.
From your friend.
Or former syndicate.
You need a rulebook. Then you need the relevant house book. I still think they should have kept that gangs of Necromunda, hive gangs or gangs of Necromunda, I forget what it's called now. The Book of Gangs, it was called. That's it, and it had like the basic starting lists for each of the gangs with all the special rules at the back. and that was to keep you going until like the new book came out. I still think that should exist as a product for people just starting off, and that should be in the back of the main rule book. It should only be one book you buy, which is the rule book, and that as you're getting started stuff. But at the moment,
and
it
then
isn't that.
if you want to really commit to the bit, you can be like, oh, Eschers are my guys.
Goliath's
oh my god,
I'm gonna get the book on Goliath because it's got all the background in there. It's got loads of cool dramatis persona. It's got all the cool extra creatures.
and the Necromunda books are great.
They are.
They're super fun.
They really go really hard with exactly what you want with Warhammer books, which is the lore.
This is what I'm trying to say. Like, I genuinely believe, believe it's the best product out there. Like it has an ongoing narrative.
Yeah.
Like
the best Warhammer IP as far as like support and product goes.
100%. I think it's the best. I think it literally is like the perfect pitch.
Yeah.
I walk up to someone, I'm like, as long as you like cyberpunk stuff.
My name's Chloe and I love cyberpunk.
Then I'm like,
a
look,
male.
like you're playing in this like you can decide on the dystopian future. Do you want to go Mad Maxy? Do you not want to?
Go Mad Maxy.
Yeah. Do you want to play like even you don't have to go like all the way into the sump works, right?
Yeah,
you could just be like in markets or
we did a whole D&D session where it wasn't too gritty into the lore. It was just like a really cool sort of cyberpunk-esque Warhammer-y session.
Yeah, exactly. And so like you only need a few minis. You only need a few minis. It's an amazing setting.
Yeah.
There's loads of like customization. You can have a great time.
Also, like, what do you like? And then you can be like, cool, you can have that.
Yeah, there's an ongoing narrative. There's expanding narratives. We're entering new areas and they're like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. Like, cool, here's 85 pages.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck did you say?
Yeah.
I have ADHD and I'm just addicted to TikTok.
Yeah,
I'm never reading it.
I'm literally just a girl. What are you? I am just a woman.
I mean, I've only scratched the surface of Necromunda because there's
that's crazy.
I mean, there's like I've not done. I've got every gang, but I've not looked at every possibility of what I can do with those gangs in that book of that gang or house or whatever, and plus the Aranthian succession, the Ash Waste stuff. Now Secundus has come up. So there's so much stuff to look at and deal, but then I guess that's its strength as well because
that's kind of cool.
There's something for everybody. So even if like you're like, but I like Space Marines, you're like, well, you can look at this list and maybe do like some super soldiers or just have a Space Marine running around shooting at your mates.
I just edit Goliaths a little bit.
Oh, Goliath, yeah. There's a way of fulfilling your or scratching your itch or whatever. But I do think, like, in comparison to a lot of game systems, it is a bit more confusing where to start.
It honestly feels like someone has like thrown a bunch of like, you've got to like, I don't know, when you do a flat pack. Yeah. And it just comes.
You've been doing a lot of flat pack, haven't you?
I've been doing a lot, and it just comes with 0 instructions. Just like figure it out.
Yeah,
it really does.
Screws.
Yeah, it really does feel like that. Like they put a bunch of kids on a desert island. They give them some wood, some nails, and they're like, live. And you're like, that's a lot, man.
That's what it feels like. But does it feel like that just because it's the equivalent of getting a simple table, which looks simple to build, and you're excited to have it, and then they give you 100-page workbook on how to work it out? As opposed to, I think the fact that what you're saying there is like, oh, it feels like they've given you nothing. I think what it actually is it feels like they've given you too much.
Yes.
And then you cannot complete that too much in order to get your very simple thing that you want.
Yeah, no, I think that's super fair. But this feeling comes from loads of other people who play games who I respect and love, like who are like, Rob, it's fucking crazy. And then you're like, oh, cool, but like, you'll get through it. It all works. They're like, absolutely not. You got a house rule 70 things.
Yeah.
This isn't good. That's not well thought out. And that complexity, like almost. Complexity is the wrong word because something can be complex.
People get a bit upset when people are like, we're simplifying Warhammer.
Yeah.
Right? People don't really like that if they're really into the game. They don't like it when you're like, we're simplifying Warhammer.
I've discovered over the years there's some people that really like complex rules that includes like wind and like distance and weather and stuff like that. So there's like some old war games that included those things. Some people really love that. Some people don't. Some people just want to roll some dice and shoot some stuff.
Yeah.
Necromunda kind of has both. I think if it feels both of those.
You think you can just pick some stuff up, roll some dice and play?
Yes, and I've done that recently because I did a little battle report for myself. A lot of people are like, how are you going to do that, Peachy? Who's going to be your opponent? And I've had this as comments like, do you need an opponent? I was like,
do you think you are?
You say, I battle myself every day, bitch.
Well, exactly. So I battle myself again. I made those rules work for me as a two-way kind of thing. It's not a two-way thing. It's like, I solo played Necromunda. I found a way of solo playing Necromunda. It's really straightforward. I just roll
There you
the
go.
other side, and I wanted to carry a story and not have my gang win.
You should teach Rob how to solo play Necromunda.
Yeah. But I had a point.
Yeah,
Which
which
scares the thing that scares me with Necromunda is the blaze rule.
What's the blaze rule?
The blaze rule is when you use any kind of fire related.
Like a flamer.
A flamer.
Yeah.
I avoid using flamers. I've built models without flamers because the blaze rule just gives me such high anxiety.
Yeah.
Every time there's like 4.
Is this a current rule?
I'm sure, and I'll need to check.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they've amended the rule, but I still can't work it
It's
out.
triggered.
Because
See what I mean, Peach? Like,
No,
that
go
sounds
on, go
right.
on. So,
Like-
before you get a wee flamer template,
Yeah.
and everything's nice. I like
so
flamer templates.
what with the blaze rule is you catch fire, right? Which
Yeah.
is cool.
I know,
Narratively,
I'm on
you've
fire.
caught fire.
Yeah.
What happens now? There's 4 paragraphs describing what happens if you are down
I like the idea
already.
that I'm on fire and I'm
Yeah.
like,
And
Okay.
in a way, it just needs a little flow chart, I think. But in a way,
Oh,
the
everything
paragraph
needs
kind of
flow
does
chart.
that. But sometimes I just get lost,
Mm.
and I just get like, "Am I on fire? Am I not on fire now?"
This is interesting. This is not a specifically Games Workshop problem though. Like, so for instance, me and Peach are huge Shatterpoint fans.
Yeah.
yeah.
But like, I could teach Louise. I can teach anyone to play Shatterpoint in probably.
Even Louise.
Yeah, I can teach anyone to play Shatterpoint in like 10 minutes. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
fucking easy.
Yeah.
It took me and Declan about 5 hours to learn from the rule book because it was laid out badly. It didn't flow
How
correct.
dare you?
What?
That was my job.
No, not for
Not laying the
Shatterpoint.
rules out.
Oh, the
Yeah,
rules.
yeah,
For
the rules.
Shatterpoint.
Oh, for Shatterpoint.
None of
I
this
thought
is
you. Said
you.
Necromunda.
No.
Okay.
No, okay.
Goodbye.
No. So, but
The
like,
assembly guides fucking
But
suck.
also, the Necromunda rulebook is laid out terribly.
yeah, it's laid out by someone who doesn't like games,
I don't
Louise.
actually think I laid out the Necromunda one. I think we're fine. I think we're actually fine. That wasn't me. I don't actually know who it was, but I bet they did a really good job, and I love them.
They didn't, but I hope they are really happy and are living their best life.
They are. They
Yeah.
probably are.
Well, like,
But
you
yeah,
know,
Shatterpoint is
Yeah,
laid
but-
out badly.
yeah, it's the
I needed him to show me how to play because I read through that rulebook. I was like, I have no idea what's going
and
on.
then it took like 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, 10 minutes. I knew what I was doing.
It's-
Wow.
Yeah. So like that's one of those things that like I think sometimes war games like Peachy's point are like really easy to pick up when you just learn with another person. Sometimes people learn a lot
And
better
it's
like
like
that.
a
anyway.
heritage thing. Like Necromunda isn't a fresh start on a rule system. It's built up over a very complicated rule system that existed for like 15 years before that, right?
Yeah.
So they'd be like, oh, we like this. And it's like, you know, everything goes back to us moving house recently.
Yeah.
But like you're moving into a new house and you have so much stuff, even though you've chopped it down to the things you only want to keep and you only want to bring with you, it's still 20 years worth of stuff that you like and you want to bring with you. And that's probably what Necromunda suffered for. It's just 20 years worth of good stuff that they want to bring with them into the next edition.
Yeah, can I say something like
Absolutely not. Where's
So-
your mug
so-
that says it's difficult?
it is hard to be a man
It's
in a
over
hobby.
there.
It's
I'll grab it,
definitely true.
okay.
Yeah. So this is one of the things that I think, like, and I've said this on my show, like just on streams, and now I'm going to put it out into the public ether. And I mean this as nicely as I can say it.
Okay,
like,
well, take some time
okay.
to smile
I'm
or something.
Can I get a
smiling.
worm? I'm going to get
Yeah,
a worm.
you
Yeah,
get
wait,
a
let me
worm.
get a worm.
Yeah,
Let's
a worm.
get some worms. Do you
So
want a worm?
this is kind of because no, thank you.
Okay.
Because actually, Peach, you're a really good example of like an amazing hobbyist. Because you're just like, yeah, I don't really understand it, or yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on, but I'm really fucking inspired. I'm going to build it. I'm going to paint it. I'm going to slog my way through it. And you're an absolute fucking grafter.
And then even if it doesn't get the rules right, it's like, well, I played it in a way that I thought was fun.
Exactly, right? You're an absolute superstar. Like you're almost the perfect hobbyist, right?
Almost.
Yeah,
Almost.
almost. Yeah, almost.
There's
Almost.
working.
Right.
I like that
Almost
you're
the
an
perfect.
amazing, you're a good example of an amazing hobbyist. I'm an amazing example of an okay hobbyist. Doing all right.
No, you're a tourist.
Where's my shirt?
Sorry,
but,
yeah.
No. It's okay. Like I
just
think,
wanted to compliment Peachy.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
That was all we
No,
wanted
but
to
my
say.
point was, is like you're a grafter, and like you've grafted through it, which I think Necromunda is something you got to graft through,
Oh,
right?
you got to work hard,
So-
even for the miniatures and stuff, right? You're still
Yeah,
painting.
exactly. But what I want to say was like, if you like, and I mean this to the people who are making it, if you love the thing and you want as many people to get involved as Necromunda as possible, like it feels a bit prideful. I used that word before. It feels like, I don't know if that's the right word. It feels a bit prideful. Like, ignorance is another word, but I don't mean that. That sounds too strong.
Yeah,
that sounds too strong.
I know where you're going.
But like what I'm trying to say is like
Prideful, I think think I understand what you mean.
I've got a terminology.
Like you kind of put in, you're kind of being like, well,
you love the thing so much that you want it to be as good as possible.
No, what I'm saying is you're like, Necromunda is my baby. I love it to pieces. It's the best thing ever. Like the universe is amazing.
Yes.
But like we've always made it so you check on 3 different pages for 4 different rules for one dice roll.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I get that you've always done that.
This is what I
But
meant.
what if you don't?
This
What
is what
if
I
you
meant
do?
about like moving house and you have those things that you've loved for all those years. So of course you're not going to chuck it out. But over 20 years, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and also, like, I'm not saying to take any of the stuff
They're
away.
hoarders.
What I'm trying to say is why don't you try and find a way to make it so that if people are genuinely saying, listen, this is a bit too over the top and complex, like for me to start, why don't you give them a journey to start easily?
You know what we need to do?
To get more people into the thing that you love. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'd love to get James Hewitt back on to talk about it because he created the original rules.
Oh, that would be good.
For the current
newest
edition.
Yeah, let's do that.
And obviously it's been tweaked since then. But I do think, and he said something, we did an interview with him, which was like killing your darlings. It's a terminology he got from, I think it was Jervis, which is like there's a mechanic or a thing that you really like in the game. And that actually ends up what's holding it back.
Yeah.
And I do think that Necromunda suffers from a lot of them keeping their darlings as opposed to shooting them in the face. And
Shoot your darlings in the face.
And making them more accessible to all.
That's a fun phrase, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a really nice juxtaposition against like Middle Earth structured battle games, like the Hobbit games. Because whenever you speak to anyone about the Hobbit, like if you fucking played it, it's the best fucking game.
Yeah.
Like they can't wait to tell you how good it is.
Oh, literally.
You know, the mad thing about Middle Earth, right?
Yeah.
And I still can't fathom it. It's got lots of rules.
Yeah.
Lots of rules. Probably the same amount as Necromunda would have. But you don't need them if you don't want them. I mean, if I
is it Jay that does the rules writing?
Yeah.
He's incredible. He's a very smart boy.
I'd say he's been stood on the shoulders of giants because the people that wrote the original rules.
He's only a baby as well.
He's a baby.
Well,
but
he's not anymore.
But what I do like is he's
was
kept to the what's the word when you've not changed it? You've
the ethos.
Yes, he's still got
one.
the right kind of mentality for carrying it going. But when Lord of the Rings first came out, the very first rule edition to where it is now, there's a lot of similarities.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
I didn't
God,
know that
yeah.
it's not changed very much.
I mean, there's like rules been tweaked here and there. But one of the things I like is like, let's say Rob was like, he was a Mordor orc and I was like Legolas, and Rob was somewhere on the opposite side of the battlefield and I know I could shoot him, but there's lots of stuff going off. Legolas could actually technically kill Rob because there's all these in the way rules that you have to make. You don't have to do it. You can just ignore that and carry on fighting and enjoy your day. But you're like, I really want to kill that orc captain, so I need to shoot past this hobbit. Do I do it? Yes. I've got to shoot past his combat. Do I do it? No. Oh, who do I hit in the combat? Then you find out. Or you've gone past the combat, then there's a tree, then there's a wall. And it's little stuff like that you can make it as convoluted, but the rules system is quite fluidic and simple that it doesn't make it feel like a chore. It's just like, you've got past that bit, just roll the dice again. You've got past that bit, just roll that same dice again. You got past that bit, oh, you hit a tree. I'm really sorry, Legolas, you missed. It's like, Legolas, I've got this rule here that says I can just shoot once and it automatically hits.
Fuck you, I'm Legolas,
oh, okay,
bitch.
all right, we'll do that then. Do that instead. But I mean, that's just a really poor example of what you can do. But there's so much in Lord of the Rings that is so fluidic and there's a word I can't think of.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Intuitive.
It's like not malleable, adaptable.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's just very cleverly written.
And before anyone calls me a Necromunda hater, Louise will tell you that I've bought everything that they've ever released for Necromunda. Annoyingly,
I've brought duplicates of the gangs because I don't want to do extra versions of them.
Because you want to do an Ash Waste version, obviously, Peach. Yeah, because it's so evocative. Yeah. And then I open the rule book and I think, fuck off.
And I think this is why we can say this stuff is because we are passionate about it. Yeah. We do love it.
And you actually, and you're not like, so I know a lot of like, I'm putting on the dickhead hat, a lot of those gatekeeper-y types will be like, you're the problem, you're coming into something that we love and we spent 30 years playing, we like that it's this complicated and we don't want to change it for people who aren't sure if they like it or not. For us who already love it, that seems like a slap in the face. Well, you guys aren't those people because you play very complicated games weekly, daily. You know what you're talking about. You're not someone who's like, oh, this looks fun, but I don't know anything about it, but I want it to cater for me who knows nothing about it. Like,
yesterday,
there should be a set that caters to people that know nothing about it because that's how you get people into a game. But like you're not trying to go in and change everything. You're just trying to make it good.
That's exactly my point. Yesterday I went through a 47-page Age of Sigmar FAQ. Tell you that's not a fun thing to do. It takes 5 hours. Yeah, so like I'm not someone who's like
You're
adverse.
not shy of hard work.
Yeah, I'm not shy of hard work or hard work for rules.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you when you're eventually like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, there's no like digital support like is in an app apart from like Yak Tribe and other stuff like that. Shout out to that
Which
community.
They are
amazing.
so good.
So
and constantly updated.
Yeah. So they're fantastic. But like, it just feels prideful. Do you know what I mean? Like, just like, come on. Like, make
Loosen
it
up
so.
a bit.
Kill your darlings and
Kill your darlings a bit.
Shoot your babies.
Like, genuinely make another mode. You should be. Do you know what it should be? You should be like, we've just put out Secundus, and you're like, fuck, like, look how many rules there are, look how big it is. They should be like, yeah, but it's literally the best. You should play it, right? They should be so excited that that's literally the best game that they'll be like, look, we're going to do you like an intro version with just some cards and a couple of flow charts, and it's not all of the extra rules. It's just a beginner's Necromunda game, and they're like, you know, and it will slowly move you into the main game, and they'll be like, the reason we're doing that is because this second thing is so fucking good that we need you to like slowly start moving into it, right? But they're like, they're just not, that's not what they're like. They're like, there you go, 8 pages, fuck off.
What they've done is they've done an incredible miniature release, and maybe that's their priority.
But those are different departments.
That's true.
I've got a question to ask you. So have you got the Secundus box?
Yeah.
So you've got 2 gangs in there, haven't you? Or 3 if you include the Spirers. There's some Spirers in there. Do they come with cards with all the stats and stuff written on for each of the characters?
Oh, I don't think.
I don't know.
Shall I have a look?
I don't know.
Because I don't think they do. And I don't think I've done that for a while, except the very first one that James wrote came with Goliath Sinesha. The box in itself, you could use as the scenery, and then put your tiles in there, and you get like the odd wall and the odd door, because it was very linear based as opposed to height based at that time.
It looks like you might.
You get cards, but they're blank.
Are they blank?
Yeah, so they're not written.
Which are cool.
So when the first Esches came out and the first Goliath, in the instruction guide, it was like, build them how you want, but here's some named characters on how you build, which is relevant to a card with their name and all their stats on it. So that was like the starting gangs. If you were new to Necromunda, everything was written and prepared for you. And then you would use like Brock with his renderizer. You'd use like Jamelia or whatever with her las gun because she's written down. That's how you build her. That's how she is on this card. There's loads of blank cards that you can then do your own and convert your own if you wanted to go to the next level. But to get you started, there's all these ones written up for you. Jelena, I think it was her name. But I don't think they do that now.
So as a call to action for you two, but also people in the comments, let us know what your experiences are with Necromunda. Like, let us know, like, do you love it? Don't love it?
Yeah, what do you think of the setting? What do you think of the miniatures as well?
Like, a genuine question, and has
why
the game...
do you think it's not like overtaken 40K?
I don't know. I never think it will.
Oh,
like,
God, no.
because there seems to be this odd, like, that's a video I really want to make about the difference between skirmish games and war games. But like, the question is like, if you could tomorrow decide you were going to do a campaign or play some games, what setting and who would you play with? So same question to you two. Like, if you could play this Secundus, horror, grim dark, Louise, your entire Lovecraftian horror universe.
I feel like I want to do Secundus, but I want to like.
Which gang do you want to take into Secundus?
What I want to do is I want to be a corridor gang who are looking for religious artifacts.
Oh, that's good.
So they go to Hive Secundus and they hire a little guide from the Delac that secretly they don't know that the Delac guy is taking them down to try and find their ancient gods to sacrifice them.
Oh shit.
And peril entails.
Peril entails.
That's pretty cool.
I think that's a fun thing.
That's a fun thing.
That's my campaign. What's yours?
So my campaign is using all 3, I'm afraid.
Oh, wow.
So I start off in Necromunda for High Primus. I am a dishonored nobleman.
Oh, you're always a dishonored
but my noble house is Secundus based.
Oh, that's fun.
Because there were people that like ran away from it.
I've got to like find my lineage and prove it to the rest of the noble houses because I'm just seen as like a kind of hanger on
poser.
Yeah, so I've got the Hive Scum sets or the Outlander sets that they did.
They're great.
But then I'm going to have to travel outdoors through the Ash Wastes, go past nomad invasions and like ambushes, to eventually get attacked by Genestealer cultists, to eventually find the location to my old disheveled house and then get the information that I need.
Okay, that's good. Your turn.
Mine is going to be, I'm going to be playing as... I'll play as the Orlocks.
I feel like you're very Ashways.
The worst.
Coded.
Yeah, but same thing as Peach. We're also going to go from Primus, where we have recruited, what is his name? the little squat that has the
Oh,
Big B Crumb.
Big B Crumb.
Big
Big B
Crumb.
Crumb.
Yeah.
Big B Crumb. And they're like, Big B, we need someone to make our food.
Big B.
We're going to Secundus. And he's like, no problem. But Big B has got a secret mission as well.
What's yeah.
Big
Where-
B's secret?
His grandma's recipe, which was hidden in Secundus.
Oh, no.
Oh, there he comes from a long line of ancient chefs.
Yeah, a long line of ancient chefs. So then obviously travel through Ashways, murder and
Oh, you
mayhem
could join
ensue.
up with Peachy's
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But I would genuinely
And then
be
there's
just
me
trying to
being
recruit
sacrificed
various
and stuff.
delicious foods.
You know what I'm going to find out is when I go and get my documentation on the back, it's got your pissing recipe on it.
Yeah.
Son of
So
a
then
bitch.
we're just going to have to fight it out because
One of
I
you
need it, you need it. Because Mama...
That's the big bad and the big bad end bosses each other.
Yeah. I do like the
good.
idea that you can like build a gang that's trying to do something in Hive Primus. Then you go, all three of you then take the gangs out into the Ashways and do some more, see who succeeds at that point, and then get Secundus and do that point. Like it's cool that it has the capacity to do that.
Yeah.
It's just you're like, where do you start? Like, it just feels a lot, right?
Have I got brief time to
Yeah,
discuss
yeah,
my
do.
campaign I'm doing for myself?
Please do.
Do it.
So I've decided I'm going to do lots of one-offs for Necromunda. So I'm not going to do it as like a linked campaign.
Yeah.
But it will be linked in a weird way, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
is it got like an overarching story arch kind of thing?
there is an overarching story like
That's
Deep
what I
Space Nine, but they're also episodic.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I know
So
what
it's
you
just
mean.
like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just it starts and ends in that episode.
Best Star
That's
Trek
it.
franchise, actually.
Yes, that's
Space
what
Nine.
that's what I was going for. So there's an underlying story, but it starts and finishes, and you don't need to watch the next one to know what's going off. But what I've decided, I've got a agent of Lord Helmar.
Oh.
Helmar. That's
Fancy
my
boy.
main character. That's the leader. He's called Brook Bond, which is a T. Hence the Bond reference.
Yeah, I got you.
So
Of course,
so I've
it's
got
a
Bond
T.
in there. It's T, Brook Bond.
It's either
but-
going to be T reference or your name, but weirdly said.
Well, Peach is in there.
Peach.
So I'm going to have Peach in every game. But what I've decided to do was I was initially going to go, I'll do this gang this time. I'll do this gang this time. And I was like, no. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a guy in charge of one of every gang member because he's gone from Hive City to like go, I want a Delak, I want a Van Sar, I want a Goliath, I want an
He's just
Escher.
collecting them all.
So he's collected a group and then he's got some Hive scum who knows the area and stuff like
That's
that.
funny.
And he's got like missions he's got to go on, like James Bond movies where he's got to do a thing and this, that, and the other.
There's a guy with a thing.
Yeah,
he needs
yeah.
to be stopped.
And something I've always wanted to do was relentless amounts of zombies keep coming on the board and you've got to get from A to B and you've got to do some stuff in the middle. And that was the first episode, which is like, they've got to get from I think I've called it Unliving Daylights, but I might change the name. I'm not decided.
I like it.
But because what's the daylights part mean, Peach? I don't know.
Unliving.
But I've got the word unliving. It sounds like a James Bond movie. So.
overhead.
I've not thought about the daylights bit.
Flickering overhead LED.
Yeah. But so that's my plan at the moment is I've got this character who's got like one of every gang member.
Cool.
So
How
although
do they get along?
well, this is the other thing. So initially,
Yeah.
the first one I just like played through the game, had a bit of fun. But what I am going to do is start having like the Escher and the Goliath probably won't go on the same team together.
Yeah, there's going to be some conflicts. there.
Yeah. There's going to be like
And
issues.
maybe romances.
And maybe romances. Yeah, I like that.
Big B Crumb is married to his pot.
Oh, he's married to the grind.
But yeah, I'm excited.
I love it.
That sounds really
great.
fun.
Yeah, just a bit of
It's a really fun playground to play games
Yeah,
in,
Isn't
right?
it like even for D&D sessions, like we all just came up with incredible ideas just then.
Yeah.
Even if you're not playing through it with miniatures, it's just a
Yeah.
great setting as well.
I think that's my point. I think like because I'm all
And by
about people
D&D,
getting
I
stuff
mean
on.
role play, obviously.
Obviously, yes.
Not
Be
fifth
careful,
edition.
Louise. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, I'm all about like if I have anything that I'm about, it's about getting people playing games on the tabletop. So I think that's what makes it so much fun. Like even getting us to do this podcast together. Like I've done like a podcast before where it's all like everyone's on the internet. It's just so much more fun seeing someone.
Yeah.
I
It's-
like our play dates.
Yeah, there's so much fun.
I never get to see you, Rob.
Yeah, like and playing games, playing games on the tabletop is just super cute, like and really really fun. I just wish that they just made it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Question to you both:
Hello.
what are you doing in the next week before the next Juggz, which we will be recording next week? Don't worry.
Oh, I don't know, actually.
Oh, that's fine.
I don't know. Oh, it's Golden Demon soon in Spiel.
Spiele
Yeah.
Spiele Essen.
Spiele Essen.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about just doing another Golden Demon rundown for everyone.
Nice.
People love that.
I
Nice.
love doing the
Yeah.
last one, except I don't know what to call this one because I called this one like Golden Demon 2024 and I forgot there was another one.
Oh.
So it's like Golden
balls.
Demon 2024 part
B.
2. B. And then I also, this weekend is something very exciting, but maybe not if you're not into that kind of thing, is the first academic conference of Games Workshop Warhammery shit.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is-
actually the title.
Games Workshop Conference of Warhammery shit.
That's it.
Are you aware of this?
No, what's this?
So for the very first time, Games Workshop asked people to submit academic writings, essays and stuff like that, Rob, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
About Warhammer. And from Friday, so tomorrow to Saturday, if you're watching this, this is now in the past, there's going to be a big talk where loads of people are going to present their academic research about Warhammer.
Oh,
And there's
interesting.
loads of different titles. One of them is like the history of Games Workshop fighting like IP infringement lawsuits
Oh.
and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to, and I don't know how this is going to work with my upload schedule and stuff like that. It might not for the Friday at least, but I wanted to kind of have those on in the background
Yeah, yeah.
and just maybe do some hobby, maybe build a Gundam or something, maybe respond to some emails. And
One
then
day.
just kind of listen to people talking smart about Warhammer.
Is
And
it
it's-
like TED Talks in a way?
yeah, I think it's all going to be online.
Yeah.
Like you can join, I think, like a Zoom call, and then there'll be like the presenter doing their thing. I just thought that's really interesting. And if it's good, maybe I'll make a video on that as well and just be like,
Yeah,
I
interesting.
watched the Warhammer academic conference, so you don't have to. Here's
Yeah.
what I learned.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
That's I might zone into that.
Yeah, do. I think it'll
'Cause
be
I'll
really
be
good fun.
interested to see
I'll
what
give you a link
people's-
to it and I'll show you.
I wonder if Jordan will do anything.
He should.
'Cause
But
he-
they've
he's-
already done all the entrances, and I didn't
okay.
see his name there, but he definitely
I think
should.
you need to have already submitted the paper previously.
Okay.
So it's like people who have like done something, like, and then they didn't do it because, I mean, probably because they're Warhammer fans, but like, you know, they've done
There you
something
go,
and
look.
then
Warhammer conference. This is
Yeah.
the schedule. Oh, 0 days, 7 hours.
Oh my days.
There you
Yeah.
go.
It's also Ring of Power night tonight. So
Ring of Power tonight.
I love your comment about Celebrimbor. Do you know what happens to
Celebrimbor.
Celebrimbor? Have you read the books?
Celebrimbor!
Don't tell him.
What my comment on Twitter about Celebrimbor?
No, I
See,
love
Don't
your
spoil
comment.
it. Yeah. Well, it's just like this guy seems like a bitch.
Dumb bitch.
I got really upset because like I don't like seeing people being bullied.
I'm manipulated.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
And he seems like a really cute guy.
Yeah.
And I just like saying Celebrimbor, like
Celebrimbor.
Galadriel.
It's a good point. Like his pride is elvish pride that brings him down, as is
Yeah,
all like
yeah.
elves. Yeah.
Celebrimbor.
Celebrimbor.
I like how I like and I don't like. So last episode,
Yeah.
I liked
Spoilers.
like the Tom Bombadil bits in there.
Oh,
are
some people are
interesting.
hating Tom
Well,
Bombadil.
the thing I don't like is it's almost making like Gandalf have no mind of his own, because lots of things Tom Bombadil says, Gandalf ends up saying later on.
Is that
And
true? I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah, and I like Gandalf being Gandalf.
He's smart.
But
you got
to assume that like Tom Bombadil is like literally the wisdom of the ages.
Oh, he is.
You know, so anything he says is like liquid wisdom.
He literally picks up the ring. He's like, oh, cool.
Yeah, but yeah, because he does that in the Fellowship.
Yeah.
But the thing with like the Rings of Power side of it is like he says these word for word things that Gandalf says later on.
Or you're, I think
And-
that's
and-
getting the nostalgia people excited.
It is,
I think
but at the
that's what
same
that's
time,
for.
it's like if you say something really profound,
Mhm.
I'm not going to remember it word for word. I'm going to remember the general gist of it and then add my own spin to it, and that's what I don't like.
I quite like
Yeah, that's a
quoting
good
Rob's
point.
words
Yeah.
of wisdom.
I like the
I
fact
kinda
that
think it's
Sommelier.
the-
yes,
sommelier.
But yeah, I like the fact that he's there influencing
It's
him.
easy to forgive yourself when you're your own parent. it's
true.
my favorite.
I'm looking
one.
forward to that video, your parent one.
Oh,
your parent one.
my
Your
parenting
your
video.
parenting video.
Good. I think it'll be really good fun and maybe kick off my career finally as a children's TV presenter.
Surprised
Good.
you've not done it yet.
Good, let's go.
Same.
And then Peach, you're editing your recommender video?
I am. I'll see how that goes because I'm a bit behind where I'd like to be.
Same.
But I do have, and a few people have suggested it, the option to edit all my sharp videos as one compilation.
Compilation?
Compilation.
Compilation.
And I could do that. I'd also
And release it as a DVD box set.
and release it as a DVD.
Oh my
box.
god, legitimately, really? Honestly, do it. Like,
I'd
do
get-
like a 10.
I would get fined.
No, you wouldn't literally release it as like a 10 thingy. A 10 like item like release, like a limited
Get on
item
DVDs,
release.
make
Yeah,
some
do
Blu-rays.
the DVD, like
And
burn it
some
onto
commemorative
a DVD.
plates.
Yeah, yeah.
Get
Yeah.
some commemorative plates. Print out a wee box.
And
for
inside the
it.
box, you can have Rifleman Peach. And
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, I'd buy the
Get a
shit out of
commemorative
that.
coin. The whole
Yeah,
works.
if you like the
fucking
idea of
love
that,
Let me know.
Juggernauts,
Juggernauts.
do throw that into the comments. And I'll
I
see.
love it. Like if I got a wee DVD box set with the 3 episodes and DVDs with your face photoshopped all over it.
I've got something I want to ask you.
Oh yeah, me.
And I don't know if this will help you because I know you've already done
hope
stuff on
so.
it, but I don't know if you've been nagged for it.
Oh, go on.
But I got approached by N Sabers. They wanted to send me
Oh,
a
yes,
lightsaber.
They did. They sent me
and
one
want me
as
to
well.
talk about their lightsaber. And I'm like, I've got a few ideas on how I'm going to add
lightsaber
that.
battle.
Well, I want to do a lightsaber battle with you in a car
Yes,
park,
yes,
potentially.
Any car park.
Any car park.
Don't prepare for it to be
I'll
one
film it.
specific
And
car park.
You could film
Especially if we can use the Juggz budget to buy me a drone.
it. Oh.
We're not buying you a drone.
For the car park fight.
We don't need a drone for the car. Don't encourage him with your.
Peachy's in.
I'm in.
Peachy's in.
Just get my dad to do it.
I'll let
Actually.
you fly the drone.
I don't want to. I'm not a boy. You don't just get to be like.
I don't know how that didn't work. I don't know how that
I'm shocked.
everyone watching right now is like, how did you turn down the chance to fly a drone?
Because I'm scared of flying.
You're not in the drone.
I don't care. It's so scary. Just imagine me in a drone just like.
I've got something I want to say actually. I
Yeah,
used to have an
yeah.
airplane book years ago.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Ladybird books that just
Yeah,
had,
I
like
love
about
Ladybird.
trains or
Yeah,
cars?
yeah, yeah.
There was one about airplanes, right? And there was
God.
the last page, which was like a Boeing 747.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But as opposed to being like you've seen the plane from up or you've seen the plane from the side,
Mhm.
you saw the plane top down going over an ocean, those clouds. That freaked the shit out of me. I
not
could
alright.
not turn to that page because it was so high in the sky.
Yeah.
Even though it was a drawing,
People-
a watercolor.
People
Kinda
have
render.
literal like brain death about how high up in the sky you are when you're in a plane. People don't get it. My sister's like, she's like, it's like you know how dogs are like, oh, I just get in a car and then I'm there. My sister's like, I'm not actually flying.
Mhm.
I just get in a plane and then I'm there and it's easy. And I'm like, people don't understand how high in the sky they are. Anyway, I don't want to get in a drone.
Okay, fine. You don't have to get in a drone.
I don't wanna
You're not
get-
like them old fellas who like make them like small like model railway tracks, but like you can drive on
Wait,
them.
you mean
like,
like the video that I sent you last
yeah,
night?
exactly.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you can-
Wait, what did I say with it? I sent Rob the video and I said Percy on his way to partake in some dogging with his neighbor's wife. And then this is the video.
it's just an old man on a little. Yeah, that's you on a drone.
That is
He's on
amazing.
his way to partake in some dogging with his neighbor's wife.
So, Peach, you wanted to do a car park fight? Is that what you said?
No, I was going to say I want to do a video to do with like OSL and like I'm
Oh,
gonna
that's a great
do it.
idea.
And to start off, I'll use the lightsaber.
Mm.
Like, can you paint with a lightsaber? No, you can't. Then just do like look at how cool this lightsaber is. Smash a Hattie Shin one into a face.
Yeah.
And then
I'm
I
down.
just want to do it because I just want to have that as a little insert in the
Yeah.
video.
That's fun.
I'm down.
Um,
Car park fight. Finally.
Yeah.
Do, do, do,
Car
do,
park
do,
fight.
do, do.
All right, great. And then, cool. That's
What
it.
are you doing?
So next weekend, not this weekend coming, so there will be another Juggz before that, but I'm in the USA.
Oh, I hate
Um,
that.
I know. And then
You
I-
roommates need to talk.
I
man.
know. And then the
Alright.
week after, I'm back for a
I mean, I
week,
love that
running
for
an
him.
event, and then I'm away again in Canada for a week.
Wow.
Not a week, like 4 days. Each one of them is a 4-day trip.
Hmm.
So like,
It's a shame you can wombo combo them.
there was a week in between, and I did think about it, but like, I didn't really want a week away. I just didn't want a week away
Yeah,
on top. It would have been nice.
Yeah.
Like, and I know I could have like stayed at Val's house, or like there's some people I could have couch surfed my way from.
Could have gone at the foot bunker.
I could have. The
Oh,
foot
the
bunker's closed.
The what?
What? The foot bunker's closed.
Yeah, the mini wargaming HQ is known as the mini wargaming bunker,
Because
Yeah.
Rob's
but it
like,
has
because
has
it-
the gaming center, the
You-
studios, but it also has a hotel above it.
Yeah.
But the hotel is entirely Warhammer themed. So then Rob's like, someone's definitely had sex in the mini wargaming center, and I'm like, this is the worst thing in the world.
So I call
Like,
it so I call it the fuck bunker.
Imagine like getting it on in like the Emperor's throne room.
Yeah. Imagine getting nailed and there's just an ultramarine symbol above the bed.
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah, I hate it too.
The
I hate
Emperor
it too.
protects.
Yeah, the Emperor protects.
But not tonight.
Not tonight.
With
Heretic.
I'm just say like Space Marine NPC noise.
Yeah, no, so it's closed, unfortunately.
Oh, that's so
What,
unfortunate.
for good kind of close.
Yeah, I think they closed it. Oh, it's in the town that they're in. It's not called Llewellyn. It's called
It's something like Lauderdale.
yeah. But it's like an old industrial town that's fallen on hard times because the industry left. And so like it's just a bit of a rundown town. And I think like they're just pivoting the business into doing something else. They still make all their battle reports and other stuff, but I think they now want to make like 3D printing stuff and do a bunch of manufacturing and things.
Yeah, times have changed. Battle reports aren't as like big anymore. People aren't traveling as much. Loads of stuff.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. Yeah, like I think they're I don't know what like they want to achieve.
Well, Dave's coming. I think Dave's coming to the UK soon.
Nice.
Yes,
Love
we can
Dave.
we can get him on Juggz maybe.
We can ask him about the fuck bunker.
Yeah, ask him about the
He
fuck
will
bunker.
be like, "What the fuck are you talking
I've
about?"
already
I'm
told him.
leaving.
He's given me a tour. I've been there.
Ah!
I've
Did
talked
you
about
get
it.
your black light out?
Yeah, I was like, Jesus.
Anyway,
Sir Jackson
light
Pollock.
off.
I was like, wow.
No, not on the Emperor's statue.
And he was like, no. He was like, it's blood for the blood god. It's blood for the blood god.
I want to make it very clear
I'm
that
just
no
kidding.
one has ever had sex in the mini war gaming. Fuck bunker.
Well, that's completely against what Dave told me.
Robert Signs. It's a good thing no one watches to the end. If you have watched to
I
the
know.
end, let us know if you've ever.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching. And it's been lovely talking about
It's
this stuff.
been
Great.
an interesting one.
Yeah, definitely. I think I still would love to play and get into it at some point. I think that's going to be the
We need to
goal.
make that happen.
Talking about
I'll
Peach
teach
Peachy's
you.
onto it. Yeah, I know. And
We are
Louise,
talking
there's
about
like
Necromunda.
7 different minis that I've wanted you to paint for yourself.
Oh,
Like,
I remember Andy Horror gave me the whatchamacallit, the exotic animal dealer
Oh,
ahead
yeah,
of time
yeah.
so I could paint it. And I never got around to it. And I always felt really bad about
Yeah.
that.
but that would look amazing if you
so
painted
I'm
it.
gonna say it right now. I'm sorry, Andy. I'm
Yeah.
sorry I'm a bad influencer. Thank you for always being really kind to me. That's my shout out for today.
That's good. That's a good
Andy
shout.
Horror for being
Ooh.
nice to me.
Who's your shout out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, let's do this.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Shout out Mark from Yavin Prince because he sent us awesome stickers.
These are actually very me, and
he
I
actually
love
sent
them.
them about 4 months ago,
Oh.
and they got tidied away.
It's
and
like
he
that
found
box,
them.
that delivery you got. It was here for like
Oh, God,
3 months before I gave it you.
Yes, yeah. No, thank you, Mark, for sending these. I know it's been a
Smell
while,
good.
but we like them. We
Smells like
appreciate them.
chocolate. And then
Smells like-
Peach, your shout out is that. Louise, you've done your shout out.
Andy Horror.
Andy Hoare.
Who's your shout out?
My shout out's also to Andy Hoare because I don't want him to think that like
No, yeah.
I
We're
want you.
talking about it because we love it so much.
Yeah, talking about something we love, and hopefully that's something that comes across, even if it doesn't.
Shout
I
out to the
apologize.
entire Necromunda team. Love you guys.
Yeah, you guys
can,
are great.
You can love something, but you can still critique it.
I do. Rob all the
Yeah,
time.
I was about to say, Louise can back that up a lot. Thanks for watching, Juggz. See you soon, bye.